A lot of women think that they just need another diet, and what they don't realize is that another diet isn't going to fix it.
I have tried many things before.
Every diet in the world, I guess.
I've tried literally everything. I just never lost the weight.
Women blame themselves. They think that it's my fault that I can't stick to a diet, and it's not. And when you go and you look at these wounds and you heal those traumas, that's when you can actually release the weight, and that's when it becomes really easy to be your ideal weight.
Before meeting Brittany, I had tried other weight loss tricks. I had kind of like given up on that. So I was just going along in life, but feeling kind of stuck. And that's when I discovered Brittany.
I really appreciate Brittany's all-in approach in working with people who have subconscious blocks around food and eating.
I can just enjoy what I want and not stuff myself like I'm never going to have it again.
She truly loves us and she truly wants us to heal.
And these are women that have struggled with addiction for 30, 40, 50 years, and in 3 months, they will not have one addictive craving.
Once you start working with Brittany, your goal is for the weight loss, but then in the end, that's not your goal. It's more about discovering yourself.
I have seen such a difference in the way that I feel about myself. Through her work, I've got permission to love myself.
Healing of emotional hurts from younger years just vanished.
And because of Brittany and her program, for the first time in my life, I feel like I am awesome.
She has a way of teaching you how to know where to go next.
I have grown so much.
It's a journey, and her program really helps with that and helps you realize that you're worth it.
Brittany's the gal to go to. It's totally life-changing.
I would love to know in the chat who's a student of mine. If you're a student of mine, say me in the chat, just so I know who you are. And if you're not a student, say not yet. I just want to see I want to see how many of you there are in comparison. Okay, not yet, not yet, not yet. Me. Oh wow, there's like a good group. Okay, Sue, coach and training, awesome. Rhonda. Wow, okay. Oh, thanks, Stephanie. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Stephanie just said, I used Brittany's methods to stop eating crisps years ago, then alcohol a couple years ago. Now I eat much less volume of food and dropped lots of weight. Thank you, Stephanie, for sharing your testimonial this early. Okay, awesome. Yeah, what I mean is if you're a student of mine, like if you have my 6-week program, or if you just like kind of know who I am and you maybe went to my free challenge, but you haven't gone through any of my programs. That's what I mean by not me. Okay, so it's a brand new year. Let's just get into it. It's a brand new year, right? And I want to ask you a question. I'm going to stop looking at myself because that's highly distracting. Okay. I want to ask you a question. How many of you guys have tried and failed to lose weight? Just type yes in the chat if you have tried and failed to lose weight. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I basically don't see any no's. All right, so that's all of us is what that means. See, if you really think about it, losing weight actually isn't the hardest part. We've all lost weight, right? The hard part of this is keeping it off. Okay, and you've been through this before. It's a new year, right? Let's start another diet. And you're good for maybe like a week or two, or maybe you're good for even a month. And maybe you even start to lose some weight. And then what happens? What happens? Type in the chat. Tell me what happens. You have a stressful day at work. You come home. The kids are going nuts. Your partner's in a bad mood. And what do you do? What do you do? What's that moment? It's the fuck it moment. You say fuck it, right? And you go straight for the cupboard. You eat the cookies, you eat the ice cream, you dip the cookies into ice cream. Maybe you find some stale chips in the back and you even polish those off, right? It's the fuck it moment. And when you finally wake up out of your food coma, that's when the shame hits you. And you think, what the hell did I just do? Who's been there? Say I. Truth. Truth, truth, truth. Yes. Okay, let me tell you something. This cycle stops today. This cycle stops today because after spending a decade and more than $100,000 of my own money, I have found what I believe is the only and the most effective way to permanent weight loss. Permanent. And you guys, I want you to write this down. This is without diets. This is without pharmaceuticals, no surgeries, no pills, no shakes, no jabs, no chemicals that have unknown side effects. I'm going to show you what $100,000 of my own money and a decade of my life returned. If you have a pen and a piece of paper during the rest of our time together, I'm going to show you the secret to permanent weight loss. Okay. And here's the thing. You can still eat whatever you like, whenever you like. There are no hard and fast food rules here. Okay. I have had hundreds of my students recently tell me that my techniques work just like Ozempic. They've been trying Ozempic and seeing what that's all about. I've been helping lots of people actually get off Ozempic because what happens is the Ozempic turns the food noise off. Well, guess what? So do my techniques. They turn the food noise off inside of your brain, except there's no potentially dangerous chemicals, side effects, jabbing yourself with needles. Okay, so who's ready to hear about the solution that took me 10 years and more than $100,000 to discover? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, well, as I'm sure you know, diets, trainers, pills, shakes, even surgeries often fail. And women from around the world come to me for the missing piece. This weekend, I'm going to prove to you that permanent weight loss is absolutely possible. And when you embrace this missing piece, you can look the way you want while eating what you want when you want. You guys didn't find me by accident, right? Today, my hope is that you get a glimmer of hope and we destroy the lies that you've been told. Because the truth is, you've been lied to. The fitness industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry, they profit by prescribing, not by curing. They benefit long-term if they sell you a Band-Aid instead of actually fixing the wound. It's not in their best interest to address the cause of your weight gain. They'd rather sell you something to treat a symptom or two. How many of you guys know this is true? How many of you guys know this is true? Type yes in the chat if you know this is true. So if you're taking notes, I want you to write down the word goal, okay? Followed by a colon, because you may think that your goal is to stop your cravings, lose 25 pounds, fit into your old clothes again, reignite your relationship, maybe play with your grandchildren. But I'm here to tell you none of those is your real goal. Okay? I'm going to tell you what your real goal is. And everyone should have the same goal. And notice I said goal, not goals, right? Are you ready? Your real goal is to find the root cause. People say, Brittany, I've been battling with my weight for years, but that's not true. You haven't been battling with your weight for years because it doesn't actually take years to achieve weight loss. Now, I know that's a polarizing statement on purpose, but what they mean is I have been manipulated, deceived, lied to, tricked, and conned into working on the wrong thing. And as long as I spend my time, my energy, my effort, and my money trying to solve symptoms of a problem, instead of spending all my time, my energy, my efforts, solving the root cause of the problem, I will always struggle with my weight. Is this making sense to everybody? Type yes in the chat if it makes sense to you. Okay, so who's ready to get to the root cause? See, you guys, I know this isn't sexy, right? It would be much easier for me to just sell you another diet or a pill. Oh my God, how many pills are there out there now? But there's a reason why celebrities, politicians, CEOs, and many people that I'm not allowed to name, and more than 257,469 women call me the missing piece. They call me the missing piece for a reason, because I'm here to give you the truth. Now, okay, if you ask me, obviously I'm going to tell you my perspective is right, because discovering the root cause of my weight gain and my emotional eating completely changed my life. And now it's changed the lives of hundreds of thousands of my clients. And I've been doing this for more than a decade. So if you ask me, I know I'm biased. I want to recognize that. Okay. So I don't want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to the women who are sitting in the exact same seats that you're sitting in now.
I started doing this the middle of January, the 16th of January. I have lost 11 pounds since then.
This shit works.
I've lost 2 dress sizes and I'm losing more.
I don't have emotional eating or cravings anymore.
I've lost 2 pounds this week.
I am centered, safe in my body, lost weight, kept it off.
I'm wearing clothes that I haven't worn in 2 years. And people at church are commenting, oh, you're losing weight. You're looking good. And I'm like, yeah, I feel good in everything. It's just awesome.
And during this time, I've lost 18 kilos. The weight loss is just a bonus. I'm a much more confident, calm, happy person altogether than I've ever been in my entire life. And fitness-wise, you know, I'm fitter now at 40 than I was when I was 20.
I've managed to lose 45 pounds. It's just been so life-changing for me.
Could not have done this of my own volition. And this time, though, the difference is I look in the mirror and I go, hey, I like what I see.
I haven't been able to break the block of the rest of my weight, and I've dealt with chronic bloating. And I've worked with all nutritionists, doctors, probiotics, like vegan, whatever. That is a sign that I am in the right place. First time in my life, there's just nothing to hate on.
Okay, so I know those testimonials are really emotional and they're designed to get you guys excited, because these are the things, these are taken from people who are in my programs who share their wins when they're asking me questions, when they're talking to me about their programs. Everybody's sharing wins about what's happening to them throughout the program. So at this point, you may be thinking, okay, Brittany, well, what's the root cause, right? You've probably heard this before. We've got 2 minds, right? We have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. So scientists have proven that 90% of what you think and do is run by your subconscious mind. And this includes your thoughts on food and exercise. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior, they're controlled by this part of your brain called the hippocampus. Okay. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, okay, what does this have to do with my weight? I want you to write this down. The answer is everything. See, fears and phobias, they seem to arise without a clear reason. But what I bet you didn't know is that the hippocampus is in an area of the brain that stores memories and triggers automatic fear, anxiety, and pleasure responses. Okay, so we're going to do a test right now. We're going to see if this is you, because maybe it's not. And if that's the case, then you can leave and you don't have to spend your weekend with me, okay? I'm going to put a picture on the screen right now, and we're going to see what happens, okay? I want you to type in the chat what your reaction is when you see this picture. Type in the chat, what is your... Anne says, yuck, yuck, scary, freaky, creepy, laugh, sad, yuck, silly, happy, funny, ugly, terrifying, weird, ugly. Okay. Uncomfortable. No, thank you. Okay. Okay. Here, I put a little beach break in for you. Okay, everybody get your bearings. I know that's a little triggering to some of you. Take a nice deep breath. Stare at the beach, that beautiful, I don't know if it's a sunrise or a sunset, but I love that view. It reminds me of my days living in Playa del Carmen. Okay, we're going to the next one. What about this? How do you react to this? Yikes, gross, no, yikes, scary, run, sick. Smash it, no big deal, terrifying. Okay, all right, so you guys, what I want you to realize here is that as smart as you are, you may not even recognize or understand why you respond this way. You just know you don't like it. Okay? And if you reacted to this, I want you to know this is completely your subconscious mind. You may not even know, you don't even know why you don't like these things, right? Like if you're an alien from another planet and you came down to Earth, you might think that clown is a cute, friendly creature that's another alien and you want to invite them to your next space party, right? Or maybe you think this spider is cute and soft and fuzzy and you want to pick it up and put it in your pocket and make it your new pet, right? So this is what I want you to understand. Your hippocampus is responsible for your good and bad feelings. Okay. When an event occurs, it creates an imprint in the hippocampus. Okay. The hippocampus sends signals to the amygdala, which is your body's fight or flight response when you experience something bad, or the nucleus accumbens in the brain's reward center when it's a good experience. I'm going to do a drawing here for you. This is also the antithesis of my presentation, but I've practiced this a few times and I think I can do it. Okay. So when we're reminded of a trauma, the hippocampus activates a memory and it causes the amygdala to send stress signals, which can lead to behaviors like emotional eating to soothe stress. Because you can't eat food and feel bad at the same time when you eat, right? Your brain is releasing dopamine, it's releasing serotonin, it's releasing endorphins. It's basically releasing all the feel-good chemicals in your body, which is great for adaptability and it's great for keeping you alive, but it's not great for weight loss. Okay? All right. So this is your hippocampus. And you've heard the term impressions. They left an impression on me. Well, your hippocampus, when you have memories and experiences, it leaves an indent in the area of your brain called the hippocampus. Okay. And there's tons of them. Like this looks like a little like old school sponge, or I guess sponges still look like that. But remember those green ones with all the little holes in them? Okay. So that's what your hippocampus is, and it's filled with these. Okay. And then there's something called the nucleus accumbens over here, which is responsible for your feel good. This is your dopamine, your serotonin. This is all the happy feel good chemicals. And then here is your amygdala over here. Okay. So what happens in your daily life is, let's say, for example, you're at work and they hired somebody new and you can't put your finger on it, but you don't know why you don't like this guy. You come home every day, you're like, oh God, you tell your husband, I cannot stand this guy that I work with. And if your partner asks you, like, you don't quite have an answer for it. There's just something you don't like about him. Okay. That is something happened to you. Maybe that person, just for the sake of example, reminds you of your stepdad. Or maybe this person has the same glasses that your stepdad wore, but it's not overt enough for you to be aware of it. Okay. So all it's going to do is it's going to set off your amygdala and it's going to make you feel stressed out. And so what you're going to think is, you're like, "Ah, God, every time I go to work, I can't help, but I'm eating all the candy." Or maybe you have a new boss and he puts a lot of pressure on you, and he has like a lot of really strict deadlines or strict rules. And it reminds you of your parent, your mom or your dad, or whoever was really hard on you when you were a kid. So at home, you're like, oh, everything's fine. You can stick to your diet, you eat well, but at work, you just go nuts. Okay. The same can be true. I have a really good girlfriend who was left alone a lot as a child. And she really hates being alone by herself. So whenever she's home alone, she cannot stop eating food. Okay. Now, she doesn't know, like, oh, this is reminding me of my childhood and, now I'm going to go eat food. But this is what's going on subconsciously to her. This is how her hippocampus is reacting. Okay. And on the other side, you could see a plate of cookies. You come home and somebody in your house baked a big plate of chocolate chip cookies. And chocolate chip cookies remind you of making chocolate chip cookies with your grandma when you were a kid. And so what happens when you eat that chocolate chip cookie is it kind of feels like a hug from your grandma, which feels really good after a long, stressful day at work, right? We have so many positive associations with triggers that we are not aware of. Okay? Is this making sense to you guys? Type yes in the chat if this is making sense. Okay, I'm so proud of myself. I did the drawing. Woohoo! All right, now I gotta get out of here. So I want to talk about the nucleus accumbens for a minute, because this is the like lesser known one that most people don't understand. You know how you recognize someone's face, right? Like a friend or a family member, you don't have to put any thought into that, do you? Right? You don't think like, do I know you? You don't even have to have that thought, right? You just recognize them when you see their face, and you have specific emotions and responses attached to their face, right? How many of you guys have been in relationships? Right? Yes. Everybody should be saying yes. If not, you a liar. Okay. Have you ever put any thought into this? Think about your spouse or your partner. At one point, that person was a complete stranger. And now there are things that you let that partner do to you every single day that if anybody else did, you'd be like, excuse me? That like you'd be absolutely turned off and disgusted by it, right? Like think about if a stranger just came up to you and kissed you on the mouth, right? Or think about your baby, for all the moms in here. How many times have you let your baby take a sip of your drink? The baby just takes a sip and backwashes all into it, and you just think, well, okay, that's how it goes. But if a stranger walked up to you and took a sip of your drink and backwashed into it, how would you respond? You'd be like, excuse me, what did you just do? But you let your spouse and your kids do it, right? It's the same nasty, disgusting action. You're just processing it differently subconsciously because your hippocampus is sending those positive signals. When you are experiencing that person's face, it's triggering all the positive emotions, feelings, and responses. So this is just this. I wanted to give you guys another example of the reasons that you do the things you do because of the indentations in your hippocampus. The cause of your weight gain is in your subconscious mind, and it's specifically the emotional response to the people, to the places, and to the experiences in your everyday environment. You guys, this is science. This isn't like the brain according to Brittany. This is exactly what any doctor or psychologist would tell you about how your brain works and how it stores memories and emotions. Okay, so you're probably thinking, great, Brittany, what does my hippocampus have to do with weight loss? I'm so glad you asked. All right, I want you to take a look at this iceberg because this is a perfect representation of your mind when it comes to weight loss. You see the tip of the iceberg here. This is that part that you can see above the surface. And this is what most people focus on, right? Diet plans, exercise routine, willpower, not going to eat the cookie, don't buy the candy, don't leave snacks in the house. But that's just a tiny piece of the puzzle. Because see, beneath the surface is the subconscious mind. And this is where the real drivers of behavior live. Experiences, big and little traumas that shape your beliefs about yourself, your body, and food. Okay. You may have heard of big T trauma and little t trauma. So, some examples of a big T trauma would be like growing up in an alcoholic household with a toxic parent, enduring any kind of abuse, psychological, verbal, sexual, which hopefully many of you have heard me talk about. These are major contributors to extra weight. And then there's also smaller traumas, which we call little T's. And so these are the ones that most people wouldn't necessarily think about. Okay. These are like everyday experiences that can be just as powerful, right? Like kids being mean to you at school, feeling unloved, coming home from school and your mom wasn't there to hug you, or struggling through a tough move or a divorce. See, these experiences add up over time and you create beliefs about yourself and the world. Beliefs like, I'm not safe, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable. And these beliefs
silently control your behavior. This is why focusing on only diets and exercise isn't enough, because the real work happens below the surface. Is this making sense to everybody? Type yes in the chat. Okay, good. So I'm going to take you down a little trip down my memory lane. Here's a photo of me. All my empaths here, they might notice the light in my eyes, the innocence, the joy. You can just see the innate confidence emanating off of my being. And y'all, we're born like this. Every single one of us is born with an unshakable sense of self-worth. We know deep down that we deserve love, happiness, and everything good that the world has to offer. Okay? But then what happens? Life happens. Oops. Ah. So an experience like my parents were always too busy to listen to my problems, but food was always there for me. That develops into a belief that I'm on my own with my feelings, and food is my only reliable source of comfort. My parents dismissed my feelings and told me to get over it instead of comforting me, which developed into a belief system that my emotions are a burden to others, and it's better to just keep my feelings to myself. I was left alone at home from a young age with caregivers who were neglectful or frightening. I remember feeling unsafe and anxious and had no one to turn to, which develops into a belief that the world is a dangerous place and there's no one there to protect me. My needs were often ignored and I had to fend for myself. So I decided that my needs don't matter. Others won't provide for me. I'm alone and I must not rely on anyone. As we grow up, life happens, right? Traumatic experiences, big T's and little T's, they slowly chip away at that light. Now look at this photo of me. I think I'm like 12 or 13 here. My empaths in the room. Can you see the difference in my eyes? Can you see the light, how it's dimmed? Who notices the change in my eyes? Yeah. See, whether it's harsh words, feeling unloved, or moments that make us question our worth, these experiences create cracks in our confidence, and it starts to dim the light that we were born with. So then you grow up and you have different experiences, right? So when a kid at school pushed me and called me an idiot in front of everybody, I developed a belief that I'm stupid. No one likes me and I'm not important. Or when my grandma passed away and I saw her in her final moments, that turns into a belief loving someone means inevitable pain and it's safer to keep a distance. Or constantly being criticized and told I was never good enough by my caregiver, which formed a belief that I'm fundamentally flawed and I must earn my approval to be valued. Or when I was assaulted by someone that I thought was a friend, which developed into a belief that if I'm overweight, maybe I can protect myself from being hurt again. Now, this is how your traumas create low self-esteem. See, all that light gets buried under layers and layers of pain and self-doubt, culminating into an angry teenager with very low self-esteem. I now believe that my sexuality is my power. I'm unlovable. I'm stupid. I have nothing to offer of value. I can't trust anyone. I don't deserve to be loved. I don't deserve to be happy. I have to do everything alone. I'm not worthy. I have to earn love. I am not good enough. I'm ugly, I'm stupid, and people will betray you. You guys, my calling in this life and the work that I share is about peeling back those layers so that we can rediscover that light and that part of us that always knew that we were enough. Who is this resonating with? Is this resonating with you? I hope by sharing my story and sharing some of the things that have happened to me and the beliefs that were formed, you can see, look at how, you can tell, you can feel the anger coming out of me. You can feel the self-hatred coming out of me in these photos, right? This is what happens. Yeah, abuse, neglect, abandonment. Yes, yes, yes. I was invisible. Exactly. Everybody's going to have different things that have happened to them. And we'll probably all have a lot of similarities, which is one of the reasons you're probably attracted to me in my work. Now, is there anybody that's like, man, I don't know, this doesn't really apply to me. Like I've never been mentally abused, never been sexually abused. Is anybody like that here? Just say yes. No judgment. Okay. So if that's you, the reality is there's actually one more secret hidden trauma that has affected all of us, okay? And we're still traumatizing our children on a daily basis without realizing it. And tomorrow I'm going to circle back and tell you what this is because I want to go deeper into that. So this is a photo. These are photos of me when I was 15 years old. And you may have heard this story before, but I was kicked out of my house when I was 15. And you probably think that I was a cute girl here. Well, I didn't think I was cute. I had low self-esteem. I had been sexually abused. I had narcissistic parents. I had experienced extreme severe emotional abuse. I dropped out of high school because I couldn't afford to pay my rent. And the only reason that I didn't end up on the streets is because something inside of me whispered that I was meant for more. And instead of ignoring that voice, like most people do, I chose to listen and I chose to believe. Fast forward to today, I've helped 257,469 women heal their relationship with food and lose weight. I've traveled the world for 10 years living as an expat in Latin America and Europe. I've run a multinational online business for more than a decade. I have amazing family and friends who love me. And I ticked off most of the experiences on my bucket list by the time I was 35. A friend of mine, his wife was a stay-at-home wife before she was a stay-at-home mom. See, she grew up with her mom working as a nurse. She would ask her mom to go to soccer games or take her to the mall with her friends, and she would always hear the same response. No, I can't do that. I'm not like Amy Miller's mom. Well, who's Amy Miller? See, Amy Miller was her friend's mom, who was a stay-at-home mom. She would, and Amy Miller's mom was able to take her daughter to all of her games. She was able to take her to the mall whenever she wanted. She planned fun parties for her kids, and she was always available for her children. My friend's wife saw her mom overworked, stressed out. She was always complaining. She wasn't happy, and she decided, I don't want that life. So guess what she decided she wanted to be when she grew up? A stay-at-home mom. Now, see, I had the opposite experience. When my parents got divorced, my mom didn't know how to provide for us, and my dad just took off. So we had to move in with my grandparents. Now, I saw how hard it was for my mom, and I decided I don't ever want to depend on a man for money. And so I worked, and I chose not to have a family because of that. Now, I share these experiences with you because these are also trauma responses. Trauma can be as simple as a comment or watching someone that you love experience something painful. These subtle messages or simple comments, they end up shaping our identity. And then you decide how you want to be in the world and what your world looks like. Okay, as I'm sure as I'm saying this, you guys are thinking of some things that happened to you that has shaped your identity. I guarantee your views about money, your views about your body, your views on relationships, you're doing things with money right now that's a direct reflection of something someone said or did in your life growing up. You think about your body in a way that's a direct reflection of something someone said or did in your life growing up. Y'all, these are scientific facts. This isn't the brain according to Brittany. This is exactly what any doctor or psychologist would tell you about how your brain works and how it stores memories and emotions. And you guys, this is a reminder. This is all subconscious. You won't realize you're doing it. You'll just wonder, why can't I stop eating chocolate? And why can't I ever stick to a diet? Right? It doesn't happen where you have an anxiety attack or somebody makes a bad comment and then you decide that you're going to go eat your feelings away. All that certainly can happen. That does happen. But more commonly, it looks like coming home from work after a long day. Maybe it's been hard. You had a lot of stress and you're home and now you can't put the ice cream down. Okay. This is your brain's way of triggering those positive and negative feelings. And remember, where is all this taking place? Type it in the chat. Where is it taking place? In the hippocampus. In the hippocampus. And who's in charge? The conscious or the subconscious mind? The subconscious. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, Brittany. So, so does anybody feel depressed right now? Because this seems hopeless, right? It does seem hopeless. I want everybody to write down the word unless. See, unless we retrain your brain and cut the ties. Okay, do you remember my hippocampus drawing? My awesome hippocampus drawing? I'm going to just put that on the screen next time. We can sever those ties so that you still have those memories, but they no longer give you an emotional reaction. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Can you imagine that? We can sever those ties so that you can experience stress. You can see a plate of cookies. You can see that guy at work that you don't like, and you can not like him, but you don't have an emotional response to him. You're not overeating at work, right? You don't see a plate of cookies or see a jar of candy, or you don't, come home from a stressful day and then all you can think about is eating food. That stops happening. Okay? So here's a question for you. I'm going to give you a test, and don't worry, you're going to get it right. Okay. Type in the chat what your name is. Type in the chat what your name is. Okay. So my next question is, how do you know that's your name? See, people have called you a lot of things in life, right? Somebody cuts you off on the freeway, they call you an asshole. If somebody calls you an asshole, that's your name now. So how do you know that's your name? It's on my birth certificate. My mom told me, my parents, early childhood. What's your point, Brittany? My point is, you respond to that name because you were trained to respond to that name. When you came here, you didn't even really know that that was your mom and dad. You come to learn that that's them, but you don't really know that at first. See, when you realize everything about you is something you were trained to respond to, you were literally handed a set of beliefs. They're somebody else's beliefs. There's a kid that's growing up, right? 5 or 6 years old, and she's just taken in the world, right? She's very observant. She likes learning. She likes looking around. She likes watching. She doesn't say much, right? She just kind of likes to take it all in. And people go, oh, yeah, she doesn't talk much. She's shy. Have you ever seen parents do this? Or maybe this happened to you. Oh, hey, this is my daughter. Oh, she's shy. And now what happens? What happens as you grow up? What do you start saying? I'm shy. You've taken ownership of that because that was handed to you. You could have just been taking in information and you just didn't have anything to say. You guys, you do this in your everyday life all the time. Most women, when they get married, they take the last name of their spouse, right? So that means you spend 20, 30, maybe 40 years responding to one last name. And then what happens as soon as you get married? You suddenly start responding to a totally different name, right? And do you remember the first time that you heard it out loud? Somebody called your name and you're like, oh, that's me, right? Well, what happened when you did that? You were retraining your brain to respond to that new name. You guys, we do this every day. They knock out a road and now you got to take a detour to work. You didn't know how to go that way at first. And then suddenly you just start taking that new route. You move to a new city. You don't know where anything is. What do? You go on Google, you find your coffee shop, you find your dry cleaners. You didn't know where they were, but you look it up. Google takes you there a few times. And then those become the places that you go to all the time. See, you just trained your brain to do something new. You weren't born knowing how to do all these things. You learned over time how to train your brain. Okay? What happens when you don't want an app on your phone anymore? What do? You delete it, right? Okay, so how many of you guys are single like me and you use dating apps? See, we download the app, like, okay, I'm single, I don't want to be single anymore. And now we're out there, we're swiping, we're looking for bae. And then we find someone we like. What do you do with the app? You delete it, right? Because you don't need it anymore. It served its purpose. You found bae, now it's not serving you anymore. See, just because your brain responds, just because this is the way your brain responds now, doesn't mean it's the way your brain always has to respond. We can cut the ties. Okay? I want you to type in the chat, cut the ties. Cut the ties, cut the ties. How many of you guys think it would be really valuable if I helped you just cut those ties right now? Because listen, we know we all have ties, right? That's what's triggering these behaviors. And if you don't get anything else from me, do you think it would be valuable today if I showed you how to cut those ties? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right. So let's do it. So here's how to basically install a new app for your brain to run. Okay. Step one, you got to figure out which memories and which experiences are triggering the cravings and emotional eating. Also, you got to figure out what's triggering the self-sabotage and the extra weight, and you relive those. Okay. And when you relive those experiences, what do you think happens? Your brain starts sending those stress signals, right? Or the pleasure signals. Step number two, your brain has to be interrupted from sending those signals and instead flood it with a different signal, right? So I remember learning this and thinking like, okay. So if my brain is just sending the wrong signals, well, how do I jam the signal? Right? Now, y'all, I don't know a whole lot. Remember, I dropped out of high school. Y'all got more degrees than a thermometer. I know who you are. But is this making sense to you the way it's making sense to me? You guys have seen those action movies, right? There's a bomb that's about to go off. And what does everybody always say? We got to jam the signal. We got to jam the signal. Well, what's the next question? How do we jam the signal? Y'all, I spent so many years in therapy, reading books, taking classes, trying every freaking book, program, pill that I could get my hands on trying to jam this signal. And I couldn't find it. I found a lot of things that helped me lose some weight sometimes, but it was always temporary. Nothing ever helped me permanently jam the signal. I would still get food cravings. I would still eat emotionally. I would still get grabbed with my emotional experiences, with my emotions and want to go run and eat. So at one point I realized, okay, if this is going to work, I got to find a way to jam the signal myself. Because I don't know about you, but I have very shitty willpower. I could not make myself walk around the block or take some deep breaths, or what's the new one? Putting your face in ice water. I couldn't do any of that stuff. None of that would take my hunger away, right? I couldn't do that. I knew I needed something so effective that my brain would forget to even have the cravings. And you guys, that is exactly what I discovered. And I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. See, what's crazy about this is when it's done repeatedly, not only can we jam the signal, we can completely disable the bomb, which means you stop having cravings altogether. Your brain won't remember how to eat emotionally. Your brain won't understand why it's holding on to all this extra weight. And all we did was jam the signal. You guys, this is not complicated. How many of you guys have exes? Raise your hand if you have exes. Right? We all have exes, right? See, at one point, that person meant the entire world to you. You would have such a positive emotional response to them. And then something happened. He didn't know how to act right. He did something you didn't like. And over some period of time, if you're honest, the thought of that ex kind of makes your skin crawl, right? How many of you guys have had this experience? I know I have. You may even think, God, I can't believe I was with that person. Right? Now, whether or not this is true, that's not for me to decide. But see, you trained yourself on how to act differently to that person based on things he did, right? You thought, okay, that's not serving me anymore. That's not good for me anymore. So you trained yourself on a new response to that person. See, nothing I'm telling you guys is new. This is stuff you guys do every single day. Except nobody ever showed you how to do it in this area where it matters the most. Okay, so here's the missing piece, right? I know y'all want the missing piece. So I was looking for a way to interrupt the signal, remember? And do you guys remember when we used to listen to the radio? This is a throwback. Remember when we used to listen to the radio and we were driving between two towns and it would sort of like change from one channel to another and then you could hear both going on at the same time? Well, what I found is that we can actually do this with the brain. Okay. Remember, your brain triggers memories and it fires off a pain or a pleasure signal. But what I found is that we can jam the signal up if we send a different signal to confuse it, if we send it a relaxing signal. Okay. How many of you guys know there's specific areas on the human body when they're shown attention, they relax us, they calm us down? Like, obviously, most people have gotten a massage before, right? Or you've heard of acupressure. Yeah. There's certain areas on the body that when they get activated, we feel really good. You guys remember, I'm a high school dropout, but I thought, okay. If every time I feel pain or pleasure, I send a calming signal to, wonder what would happen. And I just started experimenting. And you guys, the craziest thing happened. At first, I tried it with my cravings and it worked. And then I tried the same thing with my emotional eating and it didn't work. So I experimented some more and then I discovered a different signal and I got it to work for emotional eating. But then I started sabotaging myself. Then I started losing too much weight. And so I tried to use those signals for self-sabotage and it didn't work. So I had to come up with a whole new signal. Then I got it to work for self-sabotage and I just kept tinkering with it. You guys, this is what I spent 10 fucking years figuring out. Over time, I figured out that there are 12 different calming signals for the brain to completely cut the ties. Okay? Every time I did that, every time I felt a pain signal, I sent a calming signal. Okay? And what I found is that if you do this repeatedly, you not only jam the signal, but you completely sever the tie to emotional eating and cravings forever. And over time, it didn't matter what happened to me that day. I was stressed. I got in a fight. I was critical about my body. There was ice cream in my freezer. My emotions no longer caused me to crave food. And that's how this works. When you do it repeatedly for a period of time, you can think about those bad things that happened and your brain just doesn't send a pain signal. You can still think of those positive memories of making cookies with your grandma, but you don't get an emotional response every time you see a chocolate chip cookie, right? That means you stop having cravings, you stop having emotional eating, you stop sabotaging yourself, and you finally no longer struggle with that constant food noise. And best of all, the best part is your body finally gets the message that this weight is no longer needed, right? So now I don't know what traumas you have. I don't know what your specific food triggers are. And those are things that we're going to have to figure out in order to find your own personal root cause so that we can sever the ties. But who wants a little taste of this? Who wants to experience how this works? I want you to raise your hand if you would like to sever the ties. How many of you guys would love to turn that food noise off so that you can feel in control around food all the time, even when you're stressed? Or how many of you would you like to leave food on your plate, not because you're trying to be good, but because you just don't want the rest? Right? Or how many of you guys would like to go to a party and not worry about overeating or over drinking when you're there? All right, let's do that. Okay. So I'm going to ask for some volunteers in a minute. I'm going to probably ask 2 people to be on camera. I'm going to walk you guys through a group exercise where I'm going to show you how to do this. We're all going to have this experience together, but I would like some people to be on camera just to be able to answer questions and to measure your results. Okay. So think about if that's you, but I want to go through the tapping, oh my gosh, I want to go through the tapping points here. Okay. So this is really easy. This is, it's a very forgiving technique. How many of you guys are brand new to tapping? Like, who's never done tapping before? Type yes in the chat if you've never done tapping. Okay. Some of you. Okay. Sounds like most of you have, but so I'm going to just go through this quick. So this is a very forgiving process. The only way you can do this wrong is if while you're tapping, you're not thinking about what I'm guiding you to think about. Okay. If you're thinking about your laundry list, or if you even catch yourself thinking like, God, this is so weird. Why am I doing this? Oh my gosh, I feel so awkward. Just, try to bring yourself back. I'm going to walk you through a visualization and try to just bring your back to the word, to bring yourself back to the words that I'm saying. Okay. So we've got the karate chop point, which is this fleshy part of the outside of your hand that you would use to make a karate chop. We've got the eyebrow point, which is the beginning of the eyebrow, outside of the eye, under the eye, under the nose, chin point, collarbone point, under the arm. If you have big boobs or if that's hard for you, you can just pat the side, or you can go like this, or you can leave this point out completely. Okay. And then tippy top of the head. Okay. I just take like 4 fingers and kind of generally tap there. Okay. Is this making sense to everybody? Yes. Okay, good. So I'm going to explain, let's see, am I going to explain this? Yes. Okay. You guys can see me okay, right? You see the picture of the tapping points, and then you can also see me, right? Cool. Okay. So what we're going to do is, well, no, first I'm going to explain to you that when your hippocampus is being triggered, it is triggering a set of either one or multiple experiences or impressions that you have. Okay. And I developed echo tapping by accident as a way to solve any addictive urge that goes on. Okay. So I'm going to explain to you how echo tapping works, and then I'm going to walk you through it. So echo tapping is a technique that heals emotional eating by working with echoes. Okay. Echoes are younger versions of yourself that are stuck in past experiences. Now, these echoes, they were created when something stressful or something painful happens and your brain can't fully process it. Okay, what happens is this memory gets stored in the hippocampus, and then when something similar happens to it in the present, it triggers that echo along with the feelings of stress or discomfort. Your brain then releases that feel-good chemical like dopamine and serotonin to calm you down by craving food. Okay, does that make sense? With echo tapping, what we do is we use the urge for food as like a map to take us to the experiences that need to be healed. It's kind of like solving a mystery. The food will tell us where to go next. Okay. When we connect with our younger echoes in these moments, we can reframe those past experiences, and then you can heal the stuck emotions and you can break the cycle of emotional eating forever. Okay. All right, so I'm going to have you guys think about your scene, and then I'm going to ask you guys for, I'm going to ask for some volunteers. Please have good lighting. Please have your camera on. Please don't have any commotion going on in the background, and please be willing to share your experience if you would like to volunteer. Okay. So I want everybody to figure out how you're going to use this, because if you understand my work, cravings and emotional eating are 2 different problems. And you cannot, just like I was explaining to you how I had to come up with 12 different signals in order to solve emotional eating permanently, the cravings and emotional eating are 2 different problems, and you can't use the same signal for them. Okay. So emotional eating, the definition of emotional eating is when something happens and any food will do. You go, and even if there's no food in the house, you will eat a can of cold beans that is 10 years old. Okay. Whereas when cravings hit, cravings feel like they feel urgent, but there's only one food that will do in that moment. Okay. And you'll go like way out of your way, or like the new thing is like Instacart, not Instacart, DoorDash. Like you'll DoorDash $5 McFlurry, and it'll cost, $25 by the time it gets to your door, right? Like you'll go way above and beyond what you would normally do in order to get that food, right? It feels like an urgency. It's not a preference, right? Okay. So this technique right now, this one works for emotional eating. So I want you to think about a scenario where you feel really out of control around food, okay? And usually these are scenarios that happen over and over again, right? So like I've used the office example a lot. Maybe every time you're at the office, you just can't stop snacking. Or another really common one is when everybody goes to sleep at night and you just can't stop eating all the snacks in the cupboard. Okay, I want you to figure out what is your scenario that you're going to work on, because we're all going to do this tapping exercise together. Okay. Let's see. Yes. What is it about night? I don't know, Jeanette. You'll find out what it is about night. You'll find out what it is for you. It's going to be different for everybody. What if you DoorDash for 5 different items because you can't choose? Yes, that definitely qualifies. That would be well, that might be emotional eating actually. Late at night, all alone. I want you to type in the chat here, what scenario what happens over and over again where you get triggered to eat and you know you're not really hungry? Talking about money with my husband. I love that, Kate. Yes, that's absolutely one. This happened to me yesterday at dinner with a friend. Okay. If that happens, does that happen often with this person? Can you identify, is it the person? Is it having dinner? Is it being out? The more specific you can get, the better. Ooh, okay. Comments are piling up. Okay. Oh shoot. Okay. I can't get on top of these as fast as you guys. I love how active you are. It's amazing. Sit and watch TV in the evenings. That's a super, super common one. Family reunions, lots of food and fun around. Yes. Overeat every time. That's a great one. Late night when I'm concentrating on the computer. Perfect. That's another really good one. Sitting at home alone, watching TV, boredom. Okay, great. You guys have this. Okay, so I want everybody to think about your scenario. Okay. And we don't need food for this exercise, but what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you're in that scenario. And so like put yourself there. Okay, like close your eyes right now. Stop chatting with me. Close your eyes, and I want you to go to that moment. Go to that moment. Okay. And notice what's happening in your environment. Notice who's triggering you. Notice, what's triggering you. You don't even have to know why it's happening. Just notice that you feel triggered and notice your desire for the food. Okay. You probably won't even notice that you feel triggered, because most people, they don't notice that they feel triggered. They just notice that they want food. So I want you to now, in that moment, I want you to decide how badly you want to eat food on a scale from 0 to 10. Okay, 0 is no desire at all, and 10 is like the most it could possibly be. Okay, looks like people are at a 10, 9, 8. Okay, awesome. Who would like to share with me what your scenario is? And Kimberly said, I would love to. Okay, Kimberly, let me try to find you. Kimberly, cool. Kimberly, I'm going to allow you to talk. And I'm going to promote you to, oh shoot, I'm going to promote you to panelist. So Kimberly, what I want you to do is I want you to tell me what your scenario is and then what your number is at the same also.
Okay.
I can. I just can't see you yet.
What am I? Okay. Here we go. Video.
Yay. Hi.
My scenario is anytime I have flexible time where I have things to do, but I get to choose what I do next. So it could be the end of the day, but it also could be like this entire weekend. I'm in total panic mode because there's millions of things to do and I can't prioritize. So it's a 10.
Okay. Okay. So it sounds like you get into overwhelm really easily, and that's your way, and you use food as a way to cope with overwhelm.
Yeah. And the clutter, like this room needs so much to be purged. I escape from the clutter by going to eat. Like to go to a cafe there's no other. But I stood here even at the beginning of the session. I was like, well, yeah, it doesn't matter. I can stop talking.
No, thank you for sharing that, because it's so common. I can't tell you how many students of mine who go through the program, they'll get like halfway through, and often people will say, oh my God, I woke up today and I just like purged everything in my house. They couldn't stand all the clutter, because the clutter is actually a representation of those indentations in your hippocampus. It's a representation of the kind of like junk that's going on in your subconscious mind. The more you clean out your mind, the more you want your environment to be clean. Okay. So I want you to focus, for you, Kimberly, I want you to focus on the overwhelm. Okay. I don't want you to necessarily focus on the clutter, because it's the overwhelm that's the trigger for you, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's anything. Too
much
clutter, but also too much anything.
Too much anything. Okay, cool. So I want you to focus on that too much anything feeling, that like, oh my God, there's too much. I don't know where to start. It's too much. Okay.
Also, can I just throw more like a revelation as you were talking about everything today?
Sure.
I had a lot of breakthroughs in doing your free challenge. But lately it's actually transitioned a little bit to scrolling, and I'm really realizing it's the idea of consuming anything. And so I know that this is going to help across the board, but it's just the need to like eat something.
Yeah, it's the need to check out. It's the need to check out from what you're currently experiencing. And what's so cool about this is that you can use the food to find the root cause of what is making you check out. And so what happens is it has this spillover effect. There's a reason why our students make more money, have better relationships, get raises out of nowhere, increase their happiness levels. We don't work on any of that stuff in the program. But because they're able to clean all of these things out, it's all connected, right? You're checking out of, being overwhelmed, whether you're using your phone or you're using food, it's coming from a source. And if we can heal that source, you stop doing all of those unhealthy behaviors, right? It's kind of like a, kill, 10 birds with one stone kind of situation. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Kimberly. I really appreciate it. Okay. I'm going to come back to you. I'm just going to mute you for a sec, and I'll come back. Okay, who else would like to go and tell me what their scenario is? I think it's really helpful just to talk through a couple. Carrie, okay, I'm going to look for you, Carrie. Sue, do you want to go? Here.
Yes, hello.
Hey, Sue, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I just turned your camera on, I think. There we go. Hey,
Yeah,
Sue.
hello.
Hey.
Technology, isn't it great?
It's great. It's great. I'm having a day with it. It's all right. What are you going to work on today? What's your scenario?
So my probably my biggest scenario is I work from home. I have a desk job, and when I get bored or stressed, I go and make a cup of tea, and there's a pretty overwhelming desire to eat along with that cup of tea.
Perfect.
That's my biggest trigger.
Okay. Who else has that? Who else? Type yes in the chat if that one's you. I remember I had this one all the time. It was so stressful. And because everybody works from home now, this is so common. So thank you, Sue, for bringing that up. And okay, so when you put yourself at your desk, you're probably there right now, and you think about the stress that you have and like the work that's piling up. When you go to the kitchen, how strong is that desire to eat food on a scale from 0 to 10?
Pretty much between an 8 and a 10, depending on the circumstances.
Depending on the day. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's have you focus on that, and I'm gonna come back and check in with you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sue. Okay, I want everybody to take a nice deep breath. I want you to, again, everybody focus on what it is for you. Let's see. Can you guys see me? Oh, I gotta find where my chat roll is. You can see me? Okay, cool. Okay. So again, go to that scenario, go to that thing that happens over and over again and feel that stress, okay? Feel that desire to eat food. Okay, look down at that food. Again, you don't have to have the food in front of you, but just notice how strong it is on a scale from 0 to 10. Okay? And I'm going to walk you guys through visualization, and I want you guys to know that everybody will get this right. Okay? I have doctors and lawyers. This might seem kind of like esoteric, but I want you to know that I have very analytical people do this all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question like, how old are you right now? Okay, and I just want you to already know that you're gonna get the answer right. Okay, and I'm gonna snap my fingers and I'm going to ask your unconscious mind to answer the question. Okay. Now we're not doing it yet, but I'm telling you how it's going to work. So this is what's likely to happen. If you've never done this with me before, you could see a number of a certain age kind of like floating around you. You could see yourself as a child and just know how old you are, or you could have like a knowing sense of the answer. Some people even hear an answer. Okay. So I want everybody to know there's nothing wrong. You're not crazy, but your unconscious mind is going to give you the answer. It's just your brain, depending on your brain and depending on how you process information, will depend on how you get that answer. Okay. So again, go back to the scenario. I want you to think about that situation that triggers you. Really feel that stress. I want you to get it to a 10. Try to get it to a 10. Make the situation even worse. Okay. Now look down at the food or think about that food that you want to go get. Imagine that you go and get it and it's right there in front of you. Okay. I want you to notice how your body's like drawn towards it. Okay. Notice your body like reach out for it, how you just can't stop from like wanting, you have this like pull almost from the food. Okay. And then with both hands, just in your mind's eye, I want you to take the food and I want you to push it away from you at least a foot. Okay. And then you're going to start tapping on your karate chop point and just go ahead and follow along with me for the tapping points. Okay. I want you to sit back. I want you to close your eyes. You're probably feeling really bad right now. Okay. So I want you to tune into that bad feeling. Okay. And I'm going to ask you a question here. And I want you to allow your unconscious mind to go with the very first thing that pops up. Okay. How old are you right now? You might see a number, feel a number, just have a knowing sense of the number. Again, don't worry, you're going to get it right. Okay. Just go with whatever answer you get. Now keep tapping through the points here, and I want you to see yourself at that age. And you're going to start walking over to her, okay? You're going to get closer and closer and closer. You're inching your way up until you're right there in front of her, or you're behind her, depending on where she is. Okay, now the anxiety might be higher at this point, okay? Is anybody noticing that your anxiety is getting even higher? Okay, that's okay. I want you to just keep tapping and keep breathing. Okay, we're going to stand here for a minute, really, really close to that younger version of you. And when you feel ready, I want you to step inside her body, open your eyes, take a look around, and tell me what's going on, even if you think you're making it up. Okay, keep tapping through the points as you do this. So what I want you to do is I want you to allow yourself to feel all the emotions that you're feeling right now. Allow yourself to boldly step into these feelings, knowing that this is the last time you ever have to feel this way. And as soon as you step into these feelings, they're going to dissolve in seconds. Okay, keep tapping through the points as you do this. Now, if there's anything that you want to say right now that's appropriate to this situation, I want you to go ahead and say that out loud right now. Okay, everybody's muted, so say it out loud. Maybe it's something like, that's not fair. How could you? That wasn't right. Why me? And just, we're going to spend like 30 seconds here, and I want you to say whatever words are popping into your head intuitively right now. Keep tapping as you do this. Just follow along with me. And I want you to just keep tapping until you notice your body take a breath, or you'll notice your body kind of like relax a little bit. You might yawn, you might sneeze, but I just want you to tap until you notice that release. Okay? Now, once you notice your body relax, I want you to keep tapping through the points, and I want you to come back to today, back to the adult that you are. And I want you to take a nice deep breath. Okay? Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do another round of tapping, and I'm going to walk you through another visualization. Okay. So keep tapping through the points now. And I want you to see yourself at the age that you were. Okay. So if you're 5, 6, 10, however old. And as the adult that you are today, I want you to step into this scene with the little version of you. And I want you to put your arms around her and hug her and love her and tell her that everything is going to be okay. And I want you to let her know that you are here for her no matter what. And that even if she can't depend on anyone else, you're here. You're here to help her. You're here to watch over her. She can always depend on you. Keep tapping through the points and tell her anything else that she needs to know right now. Take a few moments to say that, and I'm going to be quiet. Keep tapping through the points. And as you're sitting with the little version of you, maybe she's right next to you, or maybe she's even in your lap, curled up with you, or maybe you could just be holding hands. I want you to imagine 2 huge golden angels that are standing on either side of you. And they have these huge wings that wrap you in their bright white light. They're wrapping you with their unconditional love. All right, keep tapping through the points. And I want you to imagine these angels turning on a beautiful shower head made of crystal. And we're going to turn up that dial, okay, to hold space for you. We're going to hold you in a very tight container so that we can heal together, okay? Notice how good it feels to allow this brilliant, bright white light to cleanse every part of your body. I want you to feel that crystal light, that bright, brilliant crystal white light cleansing every part of your body, all your cells, your organs, your body, her body, your energy body, her energy body. Allow this light to clean out every single part of your body, clearing out all the stuck emotions, stuck energies, limiting belief systems. Just imagine it going through every single part of your body. And see it go, look down at the little you and look at her, and it's going through her body too. And here's the cool part. The ground is like a huge vacuum cleaner, and it loves debris. In fact, the ground literally turns shit into flowers. Okay. So I want you to imagine a huge vacuum cleaner. The ground is a huge vacuum cleaner, and it just slurps all the yucky stuff out of your body and out of her body into the ground. Okay. Now stop tapping for a minute and take a nice deep breath. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use the brilliant bright white light to fill you back up, to restore you, to bring you back to yourself. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to feel, you don't have to tap for this. I want you to feel as this brilliant white light fills you up. Imagine your body is a vessel and you are receiving this brilliant bright white light. Okay. It's filling up your head, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your arms, your stomach, hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves and your feet. Feel as you get so full of this brilliant white light that it shoots out of your fingertips, it shoots out of your toes, it shoots out over the top of your head, and it spills out over your heart. And I want you to feel yourself fountaining this brilliant, bright white light. And I want you to look down at the little you and look at her fountaining this white light too. And I want you to notice the look she has on her face. Notice how she's shifted. Now, at this point, you can ask her if she wants to come with you. See, our echoes get frozen in time, and they really don't want to be frozen. They want to be healed, and they want to come with you, and they want to grow up. Okay. So most of the echoes usually say yes when I ask, but ask her if she wants you to come, if she wants to come with you. And if she says yes, I want you to imagine shrinking her down into little teeny tiny bite size, pick her up, put her in your heart, and feel as she grows up inside of you. Okay. You might even feel your brain reorganize a little bit here. Notice how she gets bigger and bigger and bigger and older and older and older until she becomes you as the person you are today, with this new way of seeing the world and this new way of seeing that situation. Okay, now take a nice deep breath. And I want everybody to go back to that same scenario that you started with. You're at home, you're at work, you're alone at night. And I want you to put yourself in that scenario and look around at the food and notice how triggered you are on a scale from 0 to 10. And I'm going to find my comments again. Where did my comments go? Oh, they're on this camera. Okay, and tell me what your number is now on a scale from 0 to 10. Sharon's a 0, Tamara's a 0, Jessica's a 1, Melissa's a 1. Okay, wow, there's so many zeros. Amazing. Went from a 9 to a 2. Put what your first number is and then what your second number is. Sally went from a 10 to a 5. 2, 8 to a 3, 8 to a 0, 10 to a 0. Great. Oh my gosh. 8 to a 3, 12 to a 2. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay, so what did you guys notice about this? Tell me what you noticed. What happened for you? And I'm going to check in with Kimberly. Kimberly, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Kimberly, tell us what happened. How was that for you?
It was great. It was so, so powerful. It's the second super powerful experience I've had working with you, and it's just amazing. And I'm a little like, I haven't gotten an immediate answer of how I feel. I think I'm still like integrating. I was like,
Yeah.
she's gonna ask me, so I was trying to like get there
Yeah,
fast.
yeah. Well, put yourself back in that scenario where you're like overwhelmed, there's so many things going on, you're like, "Oh, I'm not sure what to do." And just notice how triggered you are. Notice how triggered you are to eat food on a scale from 0 to 10. You're a 4. Okay, great. You started at a 10, you're at a 4.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. So what happens, you guys, is that typically there are sometimes, not always, because a lot of you guys got to a 0, but sometimes there are 3 echoes on top of an experience. So something like overwhelm or being stressed at work or eating all alone at night, typically those can be caused by multiple echoes and multiple scenarios that are stacked on top of each other. So sometimes we have to repeat this over and over again until we get it to an actual 0. Okay. Typically you don't have to repeat it for more than 3 times. Okay. So Kimberly, that's what I'd suggest to get you to a 0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
So
for
powerful. So amazing. Thank you for bringing this to the world.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It is definitely my life's work, but thank you for it feels good to be acknowledged for that. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna make you an attendee, Kimberly. Sue, go ahead and unmute yourself. And how are you doing, Sue?
I found that quite an emotional experience. I went back to the time when I was 6 or 7 years old, and I can remember it so clearly. I can remember exactly where I was in my mum's house. Nan and Grandad used to come and visit once a year, and I would leap into Grandad's arms for a cuddle. And I remember him saying, "You're too heavy." When I'd got to that point, and you know, the devastation that, you know, it's like he didn't love me anymore. You know, felt so rejected. So it took me back there, and you know, it was so healing to go through this process. I think it's going to make a big difference going forward.
Thank you so much, Sue, for sharing that and for being vulnerable about that, because that's a really, really strong one. And I want to point out something about Sue's memory here for everybody is that you wouldn't ever think that her being stressed at work or feeling overwhelmed with all the work stuff that's on her plate would be connected to her jumping into her grandfather's arms and her feeling unloved and unworthy, right? And you guys, this is why we have to use the food to take us to the traumas. There's a lot of you guys that have done a lot of inner healing work. Some of you guys come to all my shit and you think you know how to do this stuff alone. And the truth is, when you go hunting for traumas without using the food to take you there, you're just going to be healing a bunch of traumas, but it's not necessarily going to be fixing your emotional eating or your weight problems. Okay. So that was a super, super good example of that. Thank you, Sue, for allowing me
Thank you
yeah.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And you might need to do a couple more rounds on that. That's my sense, but it would be great to get to the bottom of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tomorrow, you guys, we're going to talk about self-sabotage. Who wants to know why they sabotage themselves from being a healthy weight? Who liked that experience? I asked you guys for your feedback and then I didn't read it. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, so many zeros. Okay, tears flowed. Not sure but I feel like crying. I was so sleepy and now I don't want anymore. Oh, awesome. I had 2 that came to mind. Okay. That's really, really common. If you have a couple that come to mind, that means that there's multiple echoes that are on top of that experience. Okay. You heard me explain that. Connected to the little me, and she said it was okay for me to bring her. Brittany, when you shared your childhood story, I got super triggered and couldn't stop my own pain until after the session. I'm so sorry, Renee. Is it normal to be filled with emotions and cry? Absolutely. This is how most people experience this as a very emotional experience. Okay. All right. I'm going to read through these when we get off because I want to respect everybody's time today. Okay. So tomorrow we're going to talk about self-sabotage. Okay. I know this is where you guys get really, really stuck. Okay. And I'm going to be walking you through one of my most powerful methods to change your weight set point. You guys, I'm not joking. Tomorrow we're going to change your weight set point together. I'm actually going to do it just like we did with the emotional eating today. And I want to see what happens. Like, notice in your day what happens after you go through this exercise. I want you to notice how you feel about food. Notice if you're less triggered, if you're more triggered, because tomorrow I want to hear about that. We're gonna open up, and I want you to share what happens for the rest of the day. And you guys, there's no right or wrong. Okay, this is all just information, right? That's how I built my entire process, is by doing experiments on myself and then just noticing what would happen after that. Okay. So this is all just an experiment, but I'm going to be taking you through literally my method to change your weight set point. My students have joked that it feels like they had gastric bypass surgery because of how much less they wanted to eat. Okay. So I think you're going to find it really, really valuable. So thank you everybody for being here. I'm going to see you back here tomorrow at the exact same time. And I will try to have a better tech day, tech start. All right. Thanks everybody. Ciao, ciao. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Okay.
I started doing this the middle of January, the 16th of January. I have lost 11 pounds since then.
This shit works.
I've lost 2 dress sizes and I'm losing more.
I don't have emotional eating or cravings anymore.
I've lost 2 pounds this week. I am centered, safe in my body, lost weight, kept it off.
I'm wearing clothes that I haven't worn in 2 years. And people at church are commenting, oh, you're losing weight. You're looking good. And I'm like, yeah, I feel good in everything. It's just awesome.
And during this time, I've lost 18 kilos. The weight loss is just a bonus. I'm a much more confident, calm, happy person altogether than I've ever been in my entire life. And fitness-wise, you know, I'm fitter now at 40 than I was when I was 20.
I've managed to lose 45 pounds. It's just been so life-changing for me.
Could not have done this of my own volition. And this time, though, the difference is I look in the mirror and I go, hey, I like what I see.
Haven't been able to break the block of the rest of my weight, and I've dealt with chronic bloating, and I've worked with all nutritionists, doctors, probiotics, like vegan, whatever. That is a sign that I am in the right place. First time in my life, there's just nothing to hate on.
Welcome, everybody. I want to see how you all are doing. How was yesterday? Yesterday was a big day. There was a lot of information. We talked about the hippocampus. We talked about the pleasure and pain signals. I showed you what a great artist I am, and again, how good I am at technology. And you also learned that in order to sever the ties to emotional eating and food cravings forever, you have to interrupt the 12 different signals, right? We talked about the different types of trauma and how trauma shows up on your body as extra weight. I showed you how to sever the tie to your emotional eating habit and turn off the food noise, just like Ozempic. So I want to know, how was that for you? Did you guys have did the tapping help you eat less throughout the day? Did it have a spillover effect maybe into the other bad habits that you might normally do? Did you snack less, or maybe not eat sugar after dinner? Or did you have the opposite happen? Did you eat more? Were you more triggered? There's no right or wrong answer here. I'm not looking for a perfect answer. I want to hear your feedback. So type in the chat and I'm going to read some of them as they come up. Okay. Okay, so I didn't have my usual chocolate after dinner. Awesome. More peace in my body, Bree says. Rebecca says I was even more triggered. Michelle said no change. Michelle, I'm curious, did you do the tapping? Were you able to follow along yesterday? I turned down a warm chocolate chip cookie with no problem. Awesome, Susanna, awesome. I ate more in the afternoon snack, but at dinner I ate way less and nothing in the evening. Awesome, Tamara. Darla said I totally binged last night. Okay, good. Thanks for sharing. That's not good that you binged, but I'm glad. That means, well, I'll get into that in a minute, but I'm going to talk to you, those of you who got even more triggered. Okay, it was awesome. Lots of awareness. I was surprised last night when my hubby pulled out cheese and crackers. I only ate a few and stopped with much more ease. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, there's so many comments. I can't read all of them, but I want to. Okay. Let's see. I did. Okay. Yeah, a lot of you are even more triggered, and we're going to talk about that today. As I was preparing for this webinar for you guys, I was thinking about the first time that I learned about tapping and the first time that I actually made changes on my weight. It was right before it was a regular therapy session, and I had no idea what I was going to work on the next day. I just had a normal therapy session. And for some reason, I could not make myself stop eating. I ate everything in the house. I'll never forget it because I was already working on my weight, and I knew I had an emotional eating issue. But I hadn't, I even knew about tapping at the time, but I hadn't figured out that it was I hadn't figured out what my blockers were. And as far as I knew, I had a regular therapy session, which is something that I had done for probably a year at that point, and I couldn't make myself stop eating. And the next day was when I discovered, and my therapist brought up or asked me the question if I had ever been sexually abused. And that was when I made the connection between me holding on to the extra 10 or 15 pounds that I was struggling with and my emotional eating. And so I made you guys that video before we had this webinar because every single thing in me didn't want me to go to that session. I was coming up with all the excuses and all the reasons why I shouldn't go. And I was so resistant. And that happens with this work. That happens when you're really close to getting your answers. That happens when your subconscious mind knows that you're going to find answers and that something big is going to change. Okay, so I'm going to speak to that part of you today. We're going to do a lot of talking about self-sabotage. And a lot of you guys are feeling really good right now, right? You had a lot of big success yesterday. You had some aha moments. But let me tell you, the very best thing that you could do for yourself right now is to keep working with me. Okay. And let me explain, because what happens after you get out of this workshop is that you're going to start to try to do the work yourself, right? But something will happen. You'll get stuck, you'll get confused, your saboteur will come to the surface, and all of a sudden that will spiral you into days and weeks where you lose that momentum and you lose motivation. Okay? I mean, that's the reality. We're going to dive into self-sabotage today, and I'm going to give you all the answers I can in our short time together. But I'm telling you this because I want you to know what to expect after this. You guys, I've been doing this for more than a decade. There has never been someone I couldn't help, and there has never been a problem I haven't seen. There hasn't been anyone that I haven't been able to help with their problems. Okay. Literally no problem has come up that I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do with that. All right. So let's talk about self-sabotage. So yesterday you learned there's 12 different signals, right? That are causing your brain to make you want to eat when you're not really hungry. So that's true. What are these 12 signals doing? Right? Type in the chat. What are these 12 signals doing? Sally, they're keeping us safe. Okay, good. They're pushing down negative emotions, keeping you where you are, safe. Yep. Right. They're keeping you safe, but they're also sabotaging your success. Okay. See, some people have all 12 of these and other people only have 6 or 7. You guys, I could spend 2 weeks teaching you everything about self-sabotage and how to cut the ties to all of the different signals. And I'm trying to fit everything I can into 2 days. Have you ever thought like, okay, I'm doing all the right things. I'm eating well. I'm exercising. Maybe you even started tapping, but you always find yourself taking 2 steps back when you take a big step forward. Who's like that? Type yes in the chat. Yes, 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 yes. 1000% yes. Right? I know. I mean, this was my biggest problem, you guys. Biggest problem. You read all the books, you take the classes, you're probably even a student of mine. So you feel like, gosh, I should have the success right now, but you don't. So what's missing? What do you guys think is missing? Type in the chat. What do you think is missing? You have all the information, right? Especially if you have access to my material, you got all the information. So what's missing? Support, willpower. Angela says you, Brittany. Belief, willpower, sneaky inner person, willpower. Okay, that's interesting. You guys think it's a lot. Nothing's missing. It's our subconscious doing the work. I don't know. I have not found the last roadblock. Self-worth. Okay. Okay. You're almost there. You're almost there. I'll tell you what it is. You have blind spots. You have blind spots, and you have no one to help you see them. Right? So yesterday we did the emotional eating technique together. And most of you had an amazing breakthrough. Many of you went from 10 to 0 with just one round of that, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, when have you ever gone from a 10 triggered emotional eating to 0 and no desire at all? Even if you went from a 10 to a 5, right? But some of you, and I shared with you, so for those of you, maybe some of you went from like a 3 or a 4 or a 5. And if I hadn't shared that you needed more rounds in order to get to a 0, you might go back to your life and you'd still keep eating emotionally and thought, oh, well, that didn't work, on to the next. Right? And for those of you who had major resistance, or maybe the technique didn't work, or your number didn't drop that much. See, when you have resistance like this, it's a sign that this will work even more powerfully for you, because your subconscious mind is a super protector. And I am a super protector's worst nightmare. Okay? Your brain's job is to keep you safe. And as far as it's concerned, it's doing a great job. You're alive, you're healthy. It doesn't care about some extra fat on your body. If anything, it thinks, okay, good. Well, at least we won't starve if something real bad happens, right? All it cares about is survival. And right now, everything works just fine. We're alive, we have food, we have shelter, we can survive. Those are the only priorities. See, when you have a super protector, your resistance to change is even higher. And you're going to find yourself self-sabotaging when you notice any positive progress. Who's like this? Your pants might be fitting a little looser. My techniques work really well. You feel happier for no reason. Who goes backwards? Me, 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 me. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, exactly. Okay, you guys, I know this so well because this was my biggest problem. Okay, I have spent a decade understanding the super protector and understanding self-sabotage and figuring out how to get around that sneaky protector, because it's a huge problem if you don't understand it. And guess what? The biggest threat of a super protector is somebody who can see your blind spots, because it's impossible to see them on your own. Okay, so today I'm going to walk you through another tapping experience. I'm going to show you another hidden blind spot. Just like we did yesterday, we're going to cut the ties to another signal. Okay, so we told you in the emails and the follow-up messages to have one of your favorite meals with you. Does everybody have a food? Have some food with them? Does everybody have food? Awesome. Thank you for reading the instructions. Okay. Oops, I lost my place. Okay. So don't worry, put the food aside. Okay, we don't need it right now. We've got, let me see how many people we got. We got 300, almost 350 people here right now. And I want you to think if you are willing to work with me live today, okay? Please be okay being in front of the group. Please be okay sharing some maybe vulnerable experiences that you might have. You must have a camera that works, good lighting, stable connection, and nothing going on in the background, please. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I want to talk about this super protector that we all have inside of us. You see, there's a payoff, right? You hear me say this all the time. The weight is doing something for you. It thinks it's protecting you from something. Our main job of the brain is survival. Okay, remember the hippocampus from yesterday? It's constantly recalling memories and traumas from the past, sending signals to the brain and to the pain and the pleasure centers, and it's causing us to seek the comfort of food to feel safe, even when we're not physically hungry. Who remembers that from yesterday? Okay. You guys, if you felt 100% safe to lose weight, if your brain thought the only way for you to survive is to have a fit, healthy body, you would have a fit, healthy body. That super protector is like a bug in the software system of your mind. That's all this is, guys. This is just a software problem. And I want you to understand this because it's a really complicated topic. And I have worked for more than a decade to simplify this, not only in how I help you with it, but in how I explain it to you. So that you understand that this is not that complicated. You guys, I know it's been complicated. This is probably the most complicated thing. I bet you're motivated. I bet you're successful. I bet you're successful in pretty much everything else you do. And this is the one area of your life that you're not successful in. Say yes in the chat if this is you. Who else thinks like, why the fuck can't I figure this out? Yes, 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 yes. I see all the yeses in the chat. I know, isn't it annoying? God, you guys, this is just a software problem. Okay, you know how your computer will tell you when it needs an update? And you update it and it runs better and the tabs stop crashing and maybe it starts to, work faster. Your brain needs an update. That's all. And maybe at some point in the future, AI will figure out how to do this for all of us, right? But right now, I'm like your personal AI. I have the codes that your brain needs for the update, and I can give them to you. All you have to do is plug them in. You guys, it's that simple. It's that simple. You know what's really interesting? You know, when people finally lose weight who've been struggling their entire lives, these people will lose weight even without my help or anyone else's help. What do you think it is? When do you think it is? When a doctor tells them if they don't lose weight, they'll die. How fucking crazy is that, you guys? I've seen it so many times. They'll come into my programs the first time. They don't do the modules. They don't tap. They have all the excuses. They don't do the work. And then a doctor tells them if they don't lose weight, they're going to die. And then they come back. They follow the program perfectly. They are the best students. They show up. They do all the work. And guess what? They lose the weight. How nuts is that, you guys? It has to be life or death. Or you can learn how your brain works and how to sever the ties and finally tell your subconscious mind it's safe to release this weight. We don't need this anymore. Who's ready to do that with me? Say yes in the chat if you want to do this with me. Yes, 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 yes. I'm seeing all sorts of yeses. Woohoo! All right, let's do it. Okay, so who's been on a diet and tried using portion control? Maybe you tried Weight Watchers, tracking your calories. What are the other ones? Maybe weighing your food, or maybe you intend, like you're like, okay, I'm only just going to eat half of what's on my plate. Right? I mean, most diets teach you portion control of some kind because you do have to eat less if you want to lose weight. And that's really hard to do, right? Intermittent fasting, right? Macros. It's really hard to do, right? Especially when we live in a day and age where there's just tons of food everywhere. And you guys, living in America, when I moved back, most of you guys know I lived outside of America for a decade before I moved back, and now I live in Texas. Dude, everything is so freaking big here. The portions come, and coming from I lived in Barcelona for 3 years before moving here. Like the amount of food they give you is absolutely ridiculous. So you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to be good. I'm only going to eat half of this, right? And you commit it, and you're doing your Weight Watchers, and you're tracking your macros, and you're weighing everything. And you intend to eat less. But then before you know it, you look down and the entire thing is gone and you don't even remember eating it. Who's like that? Who's like that? Who else is like that? Who else has had this experience? Yeah, all of us. All of us. So what if there was a way to stop overeating like that? And what if you didn't have to use willpower, tracking, macros, fasting? You didn't even have to think about it. What if you just forgot to finish your food? What if you just got full on less food? What would that be like? Could you guys imagine yourself doing that? Gabrielle says, too good to be true. Elizabeth says, freedom. Lynn says, that would be lovely. I want to forget about food. Kathleen says, that wouldn't happen. Okay. I'll take that as a bet, Kathleen. Sorry, this sounds too good to be true. It might. It might sound too good to be true, but that's why I like to prove things to you, because I don't expect you to take my word for it. I want you to have the experience. Okay. So just for those of you who are like, this is too good to be true, just do this creative thought experiment with me. Okay. If this was an automatic behavior that you didn't have to control, okay, if you just ate less because you got full faster, how many of you believe that you would actually be able to lose weight? Yes, 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 yes. So many years of tracking make it hard to leave food. Yeah, exactly. Tracking, yeah. I mean, tracking is exhausting and it doesn't work. It takes up so much mental bandwidth. It does work if you follow it, but then you can't think about anything else in your life. Okay, I'm seeing yes, yes, yes everywhere. I'm seeing some people worried about thyroid. Yeah, we're not talking about thyroid. You got to go see your doctor for that. But yes, absolutely. If I ate less, tracking keeps your mind full on the food all the time. Yes, but that's not my biggest issue. It's the stress eating. Well, we talked about stress eating yesterday, Faye. So this is a different signal. See, stress eating is one signal. Emotional eating is a different signal. The amount of food you eat is another signal, right? And you got to address all of your signals in order to tell your brain and your body that it's safe to lose weight, okay? So we're going to talk about this signal, okay? We're going to actually do this together. Because yesterday I told you that we're going to work on changing your weight set point today. I've had my students say this is kind of like gastric bypass or bypass surgery without the surgery, okay? So this is how we do it. All right, let's get into this. I want you to think back to your childhood for a minute. Okay. I want everyone to picture yourself at the dinner table and remember what the dinners were like in your home. Okay. I want you to particularly remember what the conversation was like. Were you ever told things like, you can't leave the table until your plate is clean? Or no dessert until you finish your vegetables? Did you ever feel like you had to eat even if you weren't hungry so that mom wouldn't get mad at you or so that you could like go play with your friends? Okay. Yeah, tell me in the chat what you heard. Clean your plate, clean your plate. Okay, so what I'm going to prove to you today is how those early moments shaped your relationship with food, and they are still hunting and controlling your habits and affecting your weight set point now as an adult. See, many of us grew up with the Clean Your Plate program. And clean your plate is a phrase that I coined to explain these sets of beliefs that we inherited from our families and our caregivers about food and eating. And see, you guys, this isn't to blame anybody. They had good intentions to get us to eat all of our vegetables and to not waste food. But what it taught us is it taught us to override our body's natural hunger and full cues. Okay, so think back to when you were a kid and sitting around the dinner table. What did you hear? You can't go play until you finish everything on your plate. I saw there's starving children in the world. You can't waste food. If you take it, you have to eat it. Let's see if there's some other ones in here. Gosh, you guys are typing so fast, I can't keep up with anybody. I had brothers, and so I needed to eat. Exactly. Yes, this is a very common one. Especially men have this, but Crystal, if you had brothers, that would absolutely work. Yeah, guys eat so fast, so I have to eat super fast in order to get my serving. There's starving children in China or India. Yep. I was rewarded for food with celebration or good behavior. Yep. We worked really hard for this. Absolutely. Okay, good, 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 good. So these messages from our caregivers, they were meant to teach us gratitude and responsibility. They thought that they were, making us be healthy by eating our vegetables, but that's not what we learned, right? Instead, we internalized these things as rules. And over time, they became subconscious programs that control our eating habits now as an adult without us realizing it. See, here's the thing. As kids, we were born with the ability to know when we're hungry and when we're full, right? But when we're told to eat everything on our plate, even when we aren't hungry, it creates this disconnection between our bodies and our minds. And that is one of the biggest reasons we struggle with weight as adults. We learned to override our body's hunger and full signals. Who knows this is true? Say yes in the chat. Yes, 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 yes. So here are some signs that this is showing up in your life. Okay, these are some signs. If you're not sure, I mean, a lot of you said yes, but if you're not sure, this is what it would look like if you have this subconscious programming. You may feel anxious about wasting food. Maybe you're always eating the leftovers, even if you don't really like them, because you feel guilty throwing them away. You definitely have a hard time leaving food on your plate. Even when you're full, you'll keep eating and you don't know why. You'll eat way past your full signals. Or certain foods bring up really strong emotions, like you might crave specific meals because they remind you of family or comfort, even if you're not hungry. And another sign is that you feel compelled to finish everything you serve yourself. If you take it, you feel obligated to eat it no matter how full you are. Can you guys see why you might have a weight problem? Is this making sense for you guys? Who's ready to do an exercise to change your weight set point? You guys ready? Yeah, 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 yeah. Cool. Woohoo. Yeah. Okay. So I want you to go grab your food now, okay? If it's in the other room. And I would like, let's see. I would like 2 volunteers. Please raise your hand if you would like to volunteer to work with me. Please have actual food with you. Okay, I saw Sue's hand go up.
Okay, wait, hold on. Sue, were you willing to work with me? Oh, wait, asked to unmute. Sue, can you unmute yourself? Here, I'm going to put Renee on just while you guys are. Renee, you're also unmuted.
Okay.
Hey, Renee, do you have let's see. Oh, shoot. Okay, no problem. Here we go. What food do you have with you, Renee?
I have a quesadilla, radish, carrots, a cheese, and a cinnamon roll.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Cool. Let's see here. Have food, willing to participate. Okay, I'm gonna grab one more person. Joanne, raise your hand. I was gonna call on you, but I don't see your hand raised. Let's see. Jody. Let's see. Jody, you can unmute yourself. Jody, did you want to participate in this too?
How do I turn on my camera?
There you go. Awesome. I can hear you. What do you have? What's the food that you have?
I have chocolate chips and peanut butter.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. Here. Can you guys turn on your video?
How do I do that? Let's see. How do I do that?
There's a little camera next to your microphone with a red line through it.
I don't have a camera option.
You know what? They might not. I can't promote them to panelists for some reason, Sally. I don't know.
Okay. I'm on my phone.
Okay. You know, we'll just do this auditorially. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna keep Renee, and is it Jody? Is that how I say your name, Jody?
Just plain Jody.
Jody. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So I'm gonna have them on. I'm gonna be checking in with them, but I'm gonna walk everybody through this as a group. Okay. So I want everybody to follow along and to do this with me. Okay. So the first thing I want everybody to do is I want you to look down at your food. I want you to smell it, have a little taste, and tell me how much you want to finish it on a scale from 0 to 10. Okay, and Jody and Renee, you guys are both still unmuted, so you can just go ahead and.
I want to finish it on the scale of 1 to 10. I want to finish it as an 8.
Great. Okay. And what about you, Renee?
Renee, I said 8. Yes.
Oh, Jody, what about you?
I'm gonna say about an 8 as well.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So now what I want you to do is I want you to pick up your food and I want you to walk over to the trash can.
No.
I want everybody to do this. Okay. Thank you for putting your numbers. Okay. So feel that anxiety. Okay. Because what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to throw this food in the garbage can. Okay. You guys can start tapping if you feel anxious about it. Notice how strong that reaction is about throwing food away. Do you feel guilty? Do you feel anger? Do you feel anxiety? What's your number on a scale from 0 to 10? How strong is that? Renee, how strong is your emotion?
It's a 10 because some of it is Nutrisystem and I don't want to get rid of my Nutrisystem.
Perfect. The more expensive, the better, babe. The more expensive, the better. Jody, what about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I have keto chocolate chips, and I'm like, oh. But more so it's just panic around not having something tasty and good in the house if I want it. So I'm actually feeling panic.
Yeah, okay. Okay, great. So panic, Renee, what was your emotion?
It was anxiety. It was like, I can't afford this.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So we're going to address that. I'm going to mute you guys because we're going to do some tapping around this and I want you to be able to say out loud how you're feeling. Okay. So I'm going to mute both of you and I'll come back to you. So everybody here, you should be feeling really anxious right now. Okay. So we're going to go through a little tapping exercise. And as we address our anxiety, most people feel anxious or they feel scared. Okay, so tap along with me and repeat after me. Even though it feels wrong to throw this food away, I honor these feelings and where they come from. Even though I feel guilty and selfish for wasting food, I deeply accept myself and I choose to create new ways of thinking. Even though I feel this guilt about wasting food, I allow myself to question whether these beliefs are still serving me. Okay, great. So I want everybody to tune into their emotions around this. Notice how you're feeling. Is it anxious? Is it angry? Is it frustrated? Are you pissed at me? Good. Feel that. Tap through it, channel it. It feels so wrong to throw this food away. It's not right to throw this food away. There's a knot in my stomach just thinking about it. Someone will be mad at me for wasting this food. It feels like I'm breaking a rule. There are starving children in the world who don't have enough. This feels wasteful. I can't bear to waste this food. Throwing this away makes me feel so selfish. This food is perfectly good and I'm just wasting it. I feel like I'm a bad person for even considering this. Okay, take a nice deep breath. And I want you to, if you're remembering, if you can remember specific things that your parents said to you, like, you can't get off the table until that plate is clean, young lady. I want you to say those things. Okay. I'm going to work these into our scripts, but if you remember certain things, or maybe you're even having flashbacks, of what people used to say to you or your parents used to say to you, then say those things out loud. Okay. So keep tapping through the points here. This feels like such a waste. I can't bear to let this go. I worked hard for the money to pay for this. I should save this for later, even if I don't want it now. I feel so guilty letting this go. I can't bear to throw this food in the trash. It's so hard to let go of these beliefs. This anxiety is so strong, it feels overwhelming. It's hard to trust that throwing food away is okay. I'm so used to feeling guilty about wasting food. Okay, now take a nice deep breath. Okay, everybody, I know this is super, super triggering for people. So just keep tapping through the points, okay? And if you're new to tapping, just keep following along with me, okay? So tune into what you're feeling right now. Again, Where did I learn that throwing food away is so wrong? Who did I learn this from? Does it really make me a bad person if I throw food away? Does eating this food help the starving children right now? Or is this just a story that I've carried for years? Who am I afraid to disappoint by throwing this food away? Who will be upset or angry with me if I throw this food away? Is this fear really mine? Or something I was taught to feel? Okay, now take another nice deep breath. So we're going to do one more round and then we're going to switch to something else. Is there anybody that's feeling sad right now about throwing the food away? Like for instance, sometimes food is like the only way that our caregivers can show us love, and they cook for us, and maybe they weren't good at hugging us or they weren't good with positive affirmations, but they gave us food, and that's the way that you felt loved by them. Is that coming up for anybody? Yeah. Okay, let's do a round on that. Okay, I want you to look at this food. Okay, if that's coming up for you, even if that's not coming up for you, I want you to feel your emotions towards throwing this food away. Okay, it's sad, it's scary, maybe you're angry. And I want you to think this food is like one of your favorite foods, right? So I want you to think about how it feels when you eat this food, right? Do you feel happy? Do you feel comforted? Do you feel excited? Do you feel feelings of pleasure? Okay, I want you to look down at the food and I want you to feel those good feelings, and I want you to scoop those feelings out of the food and I want you to bring them into your body. Okay, we're going to bring those into your heart. This sounds really weird, but I want you to feel all those good feelings that you feel when you eat the food, and I want you to scoop those feelings out of the food and bring them into your heart. Okay, all that love, all that comfort, all those good memories that you have of eating that food, I want you to have them in your heart now. Okay, and we're going to do this. We're going to do one round of sharing this good feeling with somebody that you love from your past. Okay, you can give it back to your mom, you can give it to your grandma, you can give it to an uncle or a brother or a best friend, but you want it to be somebody from your past. Okay, so tapping through the points, I want you to send this taste and all these good feelings from your heart to that person's heart. I want you to see that person standing there out in front of you. And I want you to imagine that they are receiving this taste and this feeling from you. Okay, I imagine it's this like beautiful iridescent ball of light. Okay, so this taste and this feeling become this beautiful ball of light that you get to send from your body to their body. Okay, and you're going to tap through the points as you do this. And once you send them this ball of light, notice them like kind of like react and go like, "Oh my God, thank you so much for sharing this with me." It's such a good feeling for them too. And then imagine as they send this from their heart back to your heart. Okay? Keep tapping through the points. Again, tasting that food in your mind, feeling all these good feelings, and send this taste and all these good feelings from your heart to their heart. From their heart back to your heart. Okay? Feel all those good feelings, feel all those happy memories, taste the food in your mind. Remember how it feels, all that love, that comfort, that celebration, that pleasure, that fun. And just send that taste and all these good feelings from your heart to their heart, and from their heart back to your heart. Again, tasting that food in your mind, feeling all those really good feelings, and just keep sending this ball of light back and forth, back and forth. Okay, keep tapping through the points, and you can stop sending the ball of light back and forth, but I want you to walk over to this person and I want you to give them a hug, and I want you to tell them how much they mean to you. Tell them how much you care. Tell them how much you miss them if they're not in your life anymore. And then they have something that they want to tell you. Okay, take a nice deep breath. Ooh. Okay. Now I want everybody to get closer to the trash. And Renee and Jody, I'm going to check in with you guys, okay? Go ahead and unmute yourselves. Hey, Renee, how's it going?
Boy, there was a strong memory there, and I dumped the food and I had to cover it so I wouldn't retrieve it from the trash.
Okay, what happens if you leave it in there and you look at it?
I'd probably retrieve it because the memory was when I was 3 years old. There was 9 months when my dad was going to school, and all we had was wheat this, wheat that, and there was nothing sweet, and it was awful. It was just my mom did the best she could, but we were hungry for sweet, and it was just awful. Felt like we were hungry all the time.
So you're remembering, so throwing this food in the trash reminds you of being hungry for sweets?
Yeah, and just being hungry because it was just wheat or this thing that looked like dog food. It was called TVP.
Okay. Okay. So Renee, this is what I want you to do. I want you to look at the food in the trash and I want you to tap through the points and I want you to say, they worked so hard for this. She worked so hard for this. I was starving. We didn't have any. I can't bear to waste this. I refuse to throw this away. I refuse to throw this in the trash. Okay, because I want you to actually be okay with the food in the trash. And we're going to do a couple more rounds of tapping. So that might loosen this up for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Just, yeah, we don't, because again, using tricks like covering it up, that's like using willpower. It only works for the moment, right? We want to actually change this permanently.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's keep working on it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I know.
I'm
It's
looking at it.
I
It's
know.
really
Okay.
hard.
Okay. Well, what do you feel when you're looking at it? What do you feel?
I feel a lot of pain because they would say we worked really hard for this.
Yeah. Yeah. We worked really hard for this. I can't bear to waste this. I'm letting them down. I feel so ashamed of myself. I'm throwing away their hard work. Right? These
Right.
are the things that are coming to your mind. These are the things that I want you to tap and say out loud. Look at that hard work. They worked so hard for this and I'm just throwing it away.
I'm tapping furiously.
Okay. All right, I'm going to check in with Jody and I'll put you on mute. I want you to say those things out loud, Renee.
Okay, what are the things again?
Okay. They worked so hard for this.
Okay.
I can't bear to waste it. I feel so ashamed. I'm throwing their hard work in the trash.
Okay.
I refuse to waste this food.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Jody, how are you doing?
Well, I had a very interesting experience because I realized my parents actually didn't, even though we were very poor, I didn't experience those messages out loud because I was an overweight kid right from the get-go that all I remember is them them portioning my food, them making sure I wasn't eating enough, mom putting me on skim milk when I was in grade 3 and on my first diet. So I had a bit of a different experience come up for me.
Okay, so what was the experience?
Oh, just I didn't have any problem sort of putting it in the trash. I didn't have a lot come up for me.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So when we started, you said you were a 10. So what was the 10?
It was just the idea of not being able to have it in the house, and not being able to have options.
Okay. And so then when we tap, you were a 10. So does that mean you're a 0 now on that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So you guys, some people this works really, really quickly for, and some people this is much more complicated. Okay, again, everybody's different and everybody's signals work differently. And maybe, Jody, maybe this isn't like a big deal for you. I know for me, it wasn't that big of a deal. My mom didn't really like make us clean our plate. That wasn't a huge message for me, but it is for so many people. And so this is how understanding the signals works. Sometimes some of them are really, really big and really strong, and sometimes they're really easy. You do it once and you're like, meh, okay, it's fine. So I think that's just an example of this is just this is not one of your bigger signals and triggers.
No, but what it did do is it brought up a lot of emotion around them portioning out my food.
Yeah, right. And feeling controlled and restricted.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna do another round of tapping, Jody, and I think this other round of tapping will help with that. And that belief and that experience will be one of the reasons that you'll sabotage your success. Or if you tell yourself to eat less, there's another part of you that's going to be like, you can't tell me what to do, right? Because you don't want to be controlled like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I bet it's really hard. And I bet in your everyday life, it's difficult to give yourself a rule and stick to it. Right.
Around my body and around exercise and around food. Yes, I rebel.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that's really, really common. I grew up in a really strict household. I was raised Mormon. I had everything taken away from me. And so I have a very similar experience where if I want something, I'm going to give it to myself because fuck you, you're not going to take it away from me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a different signal. That's one of the leading causes of self-sabotage, and that's something that we work on really deeply in my programs. We give that a couple of weeks because that's something that is a huge issue for most people. And it takes a different signal to really, really get a handle on that. I could teach a whole week-long workshop on exactly how to get rid of the self-sabotage in the way that you're describing. So we're going to do another round of tapping and it'll probably kind of like calm that down for you. And then I'm going to keep talking more about self-sabotage after we're done with this. So I'll teach you more about what that's about. Okay, Joe?
Thank you.
Okay, so everybody tune in to what's left for you. Okay? So if you haven't gotten there, I want you to throw the food in the trash. Okay? Or if it's in the trash, I want you to look at the food in the trash. Okay? All right. And notice how triggered you are on a scale from 0 to 10. Whether you are triggered about something totally unrelated to this, I want you to tune into the constellation of emotions, thoughts, and feelings. Just because we're focused on this, if there's something else that came up for you, just like it did for Jody, you can still use tapping as a way, and especially the power of the group, because we're all tapping together, as a way to clear these stuck emotions. Okay? So I want you to tune into the emotions you have right now and repeat after me. Where did I learn that throwing food away is so wrong? Does it really make me a bad person? Does eating this food really help the starving children? Or is that just a story I've carried with me for years? Who am I afraid to hurt by throwing this food away? Is this fear really mine? Or is it something I was taught to feel? What if letting go of this food isn't wasteful, but wise? Could throwing it away be a way of honoring my needs instead of somebody else's rules? Is it really wasteful to honor my body's boundaries? I'm going to say that last one again. Could throwing it away be a way of honoring my needs instead of someone else's rules? What if the real waste is using my body as storage for food I don't need? Why do I believe I need to sacrifice my body to avoid being wasteful? I'm going to say that one again. Why do I believe I need to sacrifice my body to avoid being wasteful? This is my personal favorite. It either goes in the trash or on my ass. What if respecting my body is the highest form of gratitude for this food? Could I release this belief and still honor the value of food in other ways? Okay, take a nice deep breath. And it's just coming to my mind that I didn't tell you. I forgot to tell you why I'm doing this. This isn't going to make you, this isn't going to like program your subconscious mind so that you just throw food out all the time. What this does is it retrains your body's perception of how much food you actually need. Okay, so what happens, we're still going to do a couple rounds of tapping, but, or we're still going to do another round of tapping. But what I want you to know about this is that this isn't going to make you like a food waster. You're not going to all of a sudden be completely hypnotized and programmed to like throw all the food out all the time. Okay. What this will do, it's still okay to eat half and take the other half home. It retrains your brain so that the changes that you want to make with your portion size are internal instead of rules that you give yourself, which are external. Okay. You're not going to have to use willpower to eat less. We're telling your body and your brain, we're bringing up all of the negative programming, all of the programming that's unconsciously going on in there that's telling you, I've got to overeat. I can't throw this food away. Oh, I put it on my plate. Now I got to eat it. We're bringing all of that up. We're clearing it out of the way so that we can input new commands. And the new commands will help you make better decisions, not from a place of conscious effort or willpower, just from a, this is who I am now. I don't sacrifice my body as a trash can. I can throw it away or I can bring it home. It gives you choice and it gives you the option. Whereas when you have this negative programming from your childhood, you have no other option. Your brain will go offline and you'll just unconsciously eat. Okay, you'll just unconsciously finish it because that's what your belief systems are. So right now we're rewiring your belief systems to update the software to tell your mind, hey, it's okay if there's extra food. Hey, you'll notice yourself eating less. You'll put less on your plate. The food won't taste as good after you've had enough. See, right now you don't have access to any of that information because you've got all these old belief systems, right? Okay, so let's see. All right, take a nice deep breath, and I want to see where you guys are. Type in the chat, look down at the food, and tell me how it feels to look at this food on a scale from 0 to 10. Okay, good. We've got threes, we've got twos, we've got lots of zeros, ones. Meh, zero. Awesome. Okay. All right, let's do one more round of tapping. So everybody look down at the food, look at whatever is left. Okay. Look at whatever is left. Take a nice deep breath, feel into your body, notice the emotions, notice whatever number you are, 3, 2, 1, 5, whatever it is. And knowing what I just told you about what we're doing with this and how we're reframing this for yourself, okay? I want you to keep that in the back of your head, okay? And tap through the points, repeat after me. What if letting go of this food isn't wasteful, but wise? Could throwing it away be a way of honoring my needs instead of somebody else's rules? Is it really wasteful to honor my body's boundaries? What if the real waste is using my body as a storage for food that I don't need? Why do I believe I need to sacrifice my body to avoid being wasteful? It either goes in the trash or it goes on my ass. What if respecting my body is the highest form of gratitude for this food? Can I release this belief and still honor the value of food in other ways? What if I can rewrite this story to prioritize my health over my habits? What if letting go of this food makes room for something greater in my life? What if respecting myself starts right here in this moment? Okay, take another nice deep breath. Whew, okay, and go and look at the food in the trash. Renee, I want to unmute you and just see how you're doing. How are you doing, Renee?
So much better.
So much better. Good. You
Yeah,
needed a couple more
yeah.
rounds.
I'm okay. I did a lot of rounds. And when you first had me unmute and I was doing all that, it slowly went down and then now it's down to a 0.
Great.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, that's so much better than having to put a towel over it. So you feel nothing. You feel like nothing for it. It's in the trash.
I can look at the memory and not feel emotion because I was crying.
I know this can be really intense for people. This is really emotional. I had a girl who worked for me that her dad just didn't show her love, but he was a chef, and that was the only way that she would ever feel his love. And I think she told me she had to do this like 30 or 40 times. But yeah, she was able to get to the bottom of it and release a ton of weight when she was done. So thank you, Renee, for sharing that and for being brave. Sorry I couldn't figure out how to put the video on.
Okay, it was really painful to eat 9 months of that food.
Wait, say it again.
It was really painful to eat 9 months of that food.
What do you mean 9 months of that
9
food?
months of that wheat, different ways that she tried to make it, but it was still wheat.
Yeah, I bet. This was really tied to some deep childhood memories for you.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Renee. Appreciate it. Jody, how are you doing?
Much better.
Good.
It was really interesting to see that although, mine was different than throwing it in the trash, I was so emotional when talking to you just a bit ago. And then just tapping through it allowed me to just release that emotion. And I feel so much more calmer, at peace, lighter.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, good. Yeah. So, I mean, often we don't even have to tap on the particular thing, especially when we're in a group that happens, where you can use the dynamic of the group to help you clear something that's even unrelated to what we're focused on, which is what you did.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thanks, Jody. Thanks so much for being a participant. Okay, let's see. Okay, I want to read the comments. Let's see. I'm crying with joy. I don't want to scoop another root beer float. I threw the food away. Okay, awesome. Yeah, tell me in the chat how you guys are feeling right now. What happened for you? Do you guys remember how yesterday I told you that there's one trauma that we've all been affected by? Maybe you were one of the ones that when I talked about the traumas, you're like, "Man, that doesn't really apply to me." Right? I've never been mentally abused, I've never been sexually abused. But I told you there's one trauma that we've all been affected by, and we traumatize our children on a daily basis. And, if you don't have children yet, like me, the reality is you were probably traumatized like this too, even if you felt like you had a really good childhood. My parents worked hard, they loved me. Okay, type yes in the chat if when your children say, "Mommy, when I grow up, I want to be a veterinarian." You tell your children, "Baby, you can do whatever you want." Type yes in the chat if this is you or if you heard this as a kid. Yes, 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 yes. I'm seeing so many yeses. Or like, "Mommy, when I grow up, I want to have a big house and a plane and an island." And you say, "Baby, of course, you can have anything you want." See, we tell our children that they can be, do, or have anything they want. And what we don't realize is that this is one of the biggest traumas that prevents them from having a long-lasting, fulfilling life. Because the issue isn't what you told little Kimmy or what you were told as a child. The issue is when Kimmy starts looking around and noticing her environment, she's going to start thinking and she's going to have some questions. "Mom, you told me I could do anything I want, right?" "Yes, baby, I did." "Mom, you told me I could be anything I wanted, right?" "Yes, honey, of course." "Mom, you told me I can have anything I want, right?" "Yes, baby, I did." "Well, is this all you wanted?" See, there are two options here. Either you're a liar and that's just not true, which is fine. Tell little Kimmy, you can't do what you want. You can't be what you want. You can't have what you want. Or the answer is, Mommy and Daddy weren't willing to make the sacrifices. See, my point is that you can believe whatever you want to believe, but just because you tell yourself that doesn't make it true. See, guys, I've been doing this for more than a decade, and I've learned some things over the years about what makes people successful, right? The women that have been sharing the stories in the videos, these stories, they come from our live laser calls that happen with me twice a month in the Thrive program. Do you want to know what makes these women successful? They have community, they have support from a coach, and they have access to me. What's the biggest problem when you buy an online program? What's the biggest problem? You have to actually do it, right? Because things happen. Life gets in the way, you lose your motivation. How many of you guys were going through the 6-week program and you got stuck, right? Or you weren't sure if something applied to you. Or maybe you've been to some of my trainings and you're like, "Okay, cool, she gave me the ticket. I'm going to go and I'm going to do this." And then you did it and then something came up and then you're like, "Oh shit." And then it didn't quite work. And then you didn't have anybody to ask a question to. See, I'm going to tell you the solution to that I have learned after doing this for more than a decade. There are people who have success and there are people who don't have success. So by now we know that if you're serious about having permanent weight loss, the only way that you're going to achieve that is by addressing the root cause, right? That's what we learned yesterday. And we know that the root cause of your cravings, your emotional eating, your self-sabotage, all the symptoms that cause the self-hate, the weight gain, is because of the hippocampus sending the wrong signals to your brain to deal with those, right? That's the reality. Okay, so here's a question for you guys. What if for the next 3 months, I take you by the hand and we do these 3 things together? Okay, I want you to write this down. What if the first thing we do together is I help you identify what your personal daily triggers are? Okay, because if you're overeating and you're having cravings, something's happening, right? Either your routine or someone in your daily routine is triggering you. And until you identify what those triggers are, you're kind of powerless, right? How many of you guys would agree? Sure, we know that your brain is we know what your brain's doing when you're having those triggers, but if you don't figure out what the triggers are, you're still powerless. Right? So that's the first thing that we're going to do. The next thing we're going to do is once we figure out what's triggering you, now you guys remember there's 12 different signals. We have to figure out which signals your brain is sending out because not everybody has all of them. You saw it with Jody today. She was like, yeah, that was pretty easy to do. But then something else came up. A different signal came up, a different signal that's going to be way more powerful for her. Because remember, you're an individual, just like we saw today. So based on your life experiences, your signals, you might need a different prescription. So we figure all that out. And see, the beauty is once you learn what it is, you never have to go looking for it again. Right? We create the map. We figure out what your roadmap is. And the final step is now that we know what's triggering you and what signals it's sending out, I give you the specific tapping codes to interrupt your specific signals and triggers. This is when you put those codes in your brain, you never have to struggle with food or your weight ever again. And you guys, this isn't something that takes forever. I've worked with hundreds of thousands of women. I have this down to a freaking science. Okay? Most women stop all cravings in the first 2 weeks, never to be seen again. That's it. That's it. This doesn't take long, y'all. Okay, so here's my question. If I gave you a customized roadmap so that you could interrupt your specific signals and triggers, if that's all we did, how many of you believe that you'd be able to sever the ties? How many of you believe that would make a difference? Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Right? You guys, I've done all the hard work for you. You don't need to struggle with this for 15 years like I did. I did that. Okay? So, of course, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you that my program is amazing and that it's the only solution to permanent weight loss. Because remember, for me, I spent so long trying all the things and nothing worked other than what I did. And figuring out my solution not only gave me my life back, but now it's changed the lives of hundreds of thousands of clients for over a decade. So if you ask me, of course, I am biased. I want to recognize that. So don't listen to me, okay? I want you to listen to them. I want you to listen to women that were sitting in the exact same seats you're sitting in right now, struggling with food cravings, emotional eating, extra weight, low confidence. Don't listen to me. I am not here to convince you, okay? I want you to listen to them.
I started doing this the middle of January, the 16th of January. I have lost 11 pounds since then.
This shit works.
I've lost 2 dress sizes and I'm losing more.
I don't have emotional eating or cravings anymore.
I've lost 2 pounds this week. I am centered, safe in my body, lost weight, kept it off.
I'm wearing clothes that I haven't worn in 2 years. And people at church are commenting, oh, you're losing weight. You're looking good. And I'm like, yeah, I feel good in everything. It's just awesome.
And during this time, I've lost 18 kilos. The weight loss is just a bonus. I'm a much more confident, calm, happy person altogether than I've ever been in my entire life. And fitness-wise, you know, I'm fitter now at 40 than I was when I was 20.
I've managed to lose 45 pounds. It's just been so life-changing for me.
Could not have done this of my own volition. And this time, though, the difference is I look in the mirror and I go, hey, I like what I see.
Haven't been able to break the block of the rest of my weight, and I've dealt with chronic bloating, and I've worked with all nutritionists, doctors, probiotics, like vegan, whatever. That is a sign that I am in the right place. First time in my life, there's just nothing to hate on.
So the next question. Well, I want to first preface this. I'm going to tell you the pain in the ass about working with me. Okay. I'm not going to give you a long list of the foods to eat. I'm not going to give you meal plans. I don't give you detoxes to follow. Some of you guys really like that structure. You just want to know what you can and can't eat. You like plans. You like that certainty. And I totally understand. I was like that once myself too. So this might be a deal breaker for you. And I want to say this up front because for me, I'm really invested in getting you results quickly and focusing on what foods you should and shouldn't eat or what pills to take. It doesn't, you're not going to get there. Okay. So that's not what I do, but there are plenty of people who would be happy to tell you what to eat and what pills and what shakes to take. I'm just not one of them. Right. And if I happen to come across somebody who creates the transformation that I provide and they give you meal plans and detoxes, I will happily refer you. I just haven't found anybody yet. Okay. So here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen when we work together. We're going to take it week by week. Okay. I'll teach you something. You do something. You come in. I'll teach you something. You do something. Does anybody ever do those projects at home? Those like DIY projects? Okay. Here's the thing that you need to know if you're going to join. I'm Home Depot. Okay. What are you talking about, Brittany? So what I mean by this is that I have every tool that you would possibly need to complete any job. Okay. But when you come in, I don't want you wandering up and down the aisles searching for where to go. What should I use? Should I do that? Anybody ever do that? You're like in Home Depot, you're walking up and down you got to ask the guy. No, here's what's going to happen. You're going to join and you're going to tell me, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a birdhouse. Let's say, I'm going to say, okay, fantastic. I want you to go to aisle 12, grab that hammer, and you're going to bring me that hammer. And then I'm going to say, okay, I want you to hammer that 4 times and then come back to me. Then you come back to me next week. I'll say, cool, go put the hammer back and now go to aisle 18. And we're just going to keep doing that until your birdhouse is done. You're not wandering up and down these aisles wondering where stuff is and how you're going to do it. How does that sound? Does anybody appreciate that? Does anybody ever join something and there's all this like stuff coming out? You're getting all these emails. You're totally overwhelmed. You're like, I don't know where to start. What's the best way to do this? And you're not sure what to focus on. We don't do that. I hate that. Okay. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to say, let's do this one thing this week. And that's all you're going to do. Okay. And then you come back to me next week and then I'll give you the next step. Does anybody appreciate the simplicity of that? Awesome. Yes, good. Okay. So why don't we just do that? Okay, I want you to write this down, guys. The truth is always simple. It's the lies that are complicated. Does anyone ever feel like, you know what? That's too easy. That's too simple. It's because it's the truth. In your everyday life, let me ask you this. How do you know someone's lying to you? How do you know he cheated? Because the story never makes sense, right? It's always this like complicated story with all these details that are really confusing. You guys, the truth is always simple. Same here, guys. 12 years, 469,000 women. Nobody does anything unsuccessfully for more than a decade. The truth is always simple. And can you see how the simplicity of this would make it easier for you to sustain? If I say, okay, Vicky, you want to lose weight. Great. I want you to do this one thing. That's it. That's all you have to do this week. And we do that together for 3 months. Oh my gosh, guys, it's one thing. Can anyone not see at the end of the 3 months, not only losing weight, because remember, that's not our goal, right? We're working during those 3 months on the root cause so that the weight that you've lost is permanent weight loss. That's the difference. Can you guys see how much easier that makes it? Okay, so I want to officially invite you to the Think and Thin Thrive program. Stop emotional eating in 90 days, guaranteed. I have a slide to show you, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. So I'm first just going to tell you about this and then I'll give you guys all the details. Okay. So this is the exact same program that all the people in these videos that you've been watching, this is the program that they went through. This is the program that I'm known for. Okay. I've been trying something brand new for the last couple of months and it's working really, really well. So I'm only taking a small group of 15 people. And you guys, we have like 350 people on the phone, on the line right now. So we have a lot more than 15 people on this call. And we have another 1,300 people that are going to get the replays of this. Okay. I'm only taking 15 people. And I'm going to tell you more about what we're going to do together in a minute. You're going to have 2 days after this to make your final decision, which means you have until midnight on Tuesday. But just as a disclaimer, I want you to know that all of the spots have sold out live on every single training that I've done so far. There's been 4. So if you're interested, I want you to be aware that this might be your only chance to grab this at this discounted price, because I will not make more room at this price that I'm going to offer it to today. You can always join for full price, but the price goes way, way up. Okay. So in a minute, I'm going to answer specific questions, comments, concerns you have, and I'm also going to tell you the price. Okay. And we'll have a payment plan that I'll tell you all about. We're going to go over those details shortly. First, the next thing I want you to know that most women, when they come through my Thrive program, they get rid of all their food cravings in the first 2 weeks, never to be seen again. Okay. This is what to expect. Then the next thing that happens is within 2 to 3 months, all of your emotional eating, your cravings, your snacking, your eating at night disappears. Permanently, it won't come back. Okay, here's how it works. You join the program, you come in, you make the moves. If you spend the entire first 2 months making all the moves and you don't get your results, just turn your homework in and I'll give you all your money back. No questions asked. It's that simple. You guys, I believe in this program so much that I'm willing to take all the risk for you. You could screw me. You could go through the entire program, get everything you want, stop your craving, stop emotional eating, lose weight, come to me and say, I didn't get my results. I have made this as foolproof as possible. If it doesn't work, we didn't earn your money. No problem. Because once you're inside the program, there's literally nothing for you to think about. I have done all the thinking for you. All you have to do is show up. Okay, so we spoke earlier about how people can get stuck or they lose motivation when they buy an online program, right? Which really frustrates me. It's so hard to see people not follow through when they literally have the solution in their hands. Who has that fear like, oh, this will just be another thing I buy that I won't go through? Who has that fear? Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's so common. So I'm gonna address that, and I'm also gonna share some other gifts with you, okay? Because we didn't always have this, and I decided that this is something that could be really beneficial for you guys because I'm committed. My personal commitment is having 100% success rate for the Thrive program. My team and I get together, you guys, and you know what we talk about? You know what our meetings are about? How to make you more successful. Okay, that's all we talk about. I've got my tech guy, I've got my marketing girl, I've got my coaches. We all are thinking about how to help you get the success and get the results that you're looking for. Okay. And so I don't know, we're testing this again. This is a new part of the program. I don't know how long we're going to have it for. I don't know how long it's going to be structured like this, but I can promise to you guys for this round, if you sign up, that you will have it. Okay. So bonus number one is your personal progress partner. Say, personal progress partner, Brittany, what's that? I'm so glad you asked. Your personal progress partner is my right hand. Okay. I want everybody to write down personal progress partner. Your personal progress partner, her sole purpose is to turn your problems into progress. Okay, like I said, I haven't always included this and we're adding it back in for this round as a bonus. See, when you join in this round only, you're going to have a personal progress partner. So what does that mean, Brittany? Well, a personal progress partner means that you're going to have someone who their sole existence is to wake up every day and make sure that you're on track. That's it. They check in with you, they motivate you, they help you when you're stuck, And they hold you accountable. Any questions, any comments, any concerns you have, they will make sure you have answers. Their whole job is to make sure that if you choose to do this for yourself, this is the last thing you ever need. You guys, that's their only job. They have no other job. Okay, I want you to think, show of hands, how many of you guys agree that one of the biggest issues that you've had in the past is that you start something because you're motivated, you're inspired, maybe you're even a little pissed off, right? So you make a decision. You're like, okay, this enough is enough. I'm going to do something about this. And then some time passes, right? Maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, maybe it's even 6 months. And something happens and you're just not as motivated, right? You kind of fall off. Why do you think that happens? Because you're the only one who knows about it. You're the only one keeping track. Sometimes even your spouse doesn't know. Maybe you've mentioned something, but they're not checking in with you regularly. That's not going to happen anymore. When you get your personal progress partner, their entire existence is they wake up and they wonder, I wonder how Katie's doing today. That's their only job. How many of you guys would agree if you had somebody whose sole existence, like for J-Lo as an example, do you ever think like, oh my God, she's 50? How does she look like that? Well, yeah, it's pretty easy when you hire somebody whose sole job is to cook your food, make sure you work out every day, take care of every little thing. If that was somebody else's job, how could you fail? That's why they look like that. You guys, now you can have that too. You do the work because if you make the moves, you get the results. Nobody who's made the moves has ever failed. And your personal progress partner will make sure that she's there and that you're there and that you are making the moves. And anytime you're stuck, you're frustrated, you have a problem, she's going to turn your problems into progress. Y'all, you couldn't pay your mama. How much do you think you'd have to pay your mom to call and check on you every day? She wouldn't do this. She's not going to personally progress partner you for nothing. Maybe a week if you're lucky. So how much do you think this would cost? How much do you think this would cost? I know for J-Lo, it costs a small fortune. Absolutely nothing. You guys, I am taking care of this cost for you. I want everybody to write down personal progress partner because when you leave here, you can tell your spouse or whoever you check finances with, this is the last time I'll ever need anything. I'm good. That's what a personal progress partner does. Okay? Does that answer your question? Okay, bonus number 2 is transformation tune-ups. This is a really cool set of audios and tap-alongs for those moments that come out of nowhere, right? Someone brings home a big cake. There's a party you have to go to. You get asked out on a date. You're at work. You didn't pack a lunch. And what happens? It kicks you off into this downward spiral, right? It's for those moments that you know hit you. Like, you know, when everybody, we talked about this yesterday, like when everybody goes to sleep and you can't stop eating everything in the house. Or if you're going to go visit your family and you know that you're going to be triggered and you just won't be able to stop eating the food. Right? How many of you guys have experienced this? It's for those moments in everyday life that spiral you out of control. Guess what? That's not going to happen anymore because now you'll have transformation tune-ups, which is basically like having me in your pocket so that you can go out, you can enjoy the party, you can have the drinks, you can visit your family, you can be in the world and enjoy the world. Because these unexpected moments, they pop up, but you've got me in your pocket. What if it would be like having me today and yesterday in your pocket to just give you the taps like we did together? You guys, I've thought of everything. I've created this so that you can never fall off track. 12 years, almost 250,000 women. I have figured out everything for you. Okay, this next bonus is one of my favorites. I'm going to give you guys 5 tools in something that I call waistline wonders, which is basically the most powerful fat loss hacks that actually work. Okay, because this is what happens. Now that you've severed the ties to emotional eating, you don't have cravings anymore, you don't eat at night, your body knows it's safe to be thin, Well, there are 5 tools that are necessary to not lose weight, but to lose fat. Okay, because I want to differentiate this for you. Cancer patients lose weight. You want to lose fat, right? So I put together these tools for you. And the first one is one of my personal favorites, is called Lose 10 Pounds in a Bottle. Because every time I stopped taking this supplement, I gained 10 pounds. And that's what our students tell us too. And I'm not going to go any more into this because your personal progress partner will tell you exactly when it's time for you to get started on this part. You got to do the emotional work first in order for this stuff to work. But once you're inside this program, you guys, I learned this. I was married to a bodybuilder and then I dated a bodybuilder after that. I learned all the bodybuilding fat loss hacks. They know how to do this stuff. It's really, really easy, but you got to do the emotional weight first. Okay. So before I get to the final bonus, I want to remind you guys that we have 15 spots. Okay. And we have how many people on right now? Oh, I can't see how many people. We had 350 people on right now. We have 15.
There's 305, Brittany.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sally. So I know there's some fast action takers here. So if you know you really want this, again, I wouldn't wait because I'm not going to make more room. Okay. I don't know. Every time I offer this program, sometimes I change it. Sometimes I add things. Sometimes I take them away. So if you like how this is sounding, I want to encourage you to take fast action. Okay. Bonus number 4. This is also one of my favorites. This is the Study Buddy program because everything is more fun with friends. What if you could meet and learn with people who are just like you? What if every single week, instead of listening to the module alone at home, you could tune in and listen with a group of friends and a coach who could guide you through that week's material? How do you think that would make a difference in your motivation levels? Your coach can answer questions. She can help you see blind spots. What if every single week you had a group of friends that you couldn't wait to check in with? You guys, the Thrive community becomes so tight as you meet each other and go through the program together. This is how you really solidify your relationships because y'all are cool. Like attracts like. You guys, you're just like me. You're studying cool things, you're reading cool books, you're going on cool trips, you're starting interesting projects. This really becomes a community of family, which that was the most surprising part of the program for me. I had no idea how bonding this program would be for so many women. And you guys, this day and age, we are so isolated and we're not meant to be alone. We're meant to live in tribes. We thrive in tribes. So I want you to think of Thrive like your own personal tribe. You are going to have a community of women who understand you, they are like you, and they want that connection and that closeness. You don't have to be worried if someone's going to text you back. She wants to text you back. She wants to hear from you. We have women that meet their new best friends in this program. They celebrate holidays together. They go traveling together. They post photos in the group on their trips, celebrating holidays together. This is my favorite part of the program. Okay. So the investment for your last day that you'll ever have to struggle with emotional eating ever again is just $3,000. And as I say that, I can feel y'all booties getting a little tight, right? Maybe you think like, oh my God, I can't come up with that money right now. How am I going to come up with that? And in a minute, I'm going to share some special discounts that I'm offering and how you can get a payment plan for you if that works better. Okay, but the question now is that a lot of money? And I don't know because expense is relative, right? It depends on what you're going to receive. And you have to determine for yourself what having a body you're confident in, unwavering self-esteem, dating again, reigniting your relationship, being a good example to your children. You have to determine what that's worth to you. Would you rather have those things or $3,000? Because you're going to make $3,000 regardless, right? Like, how many of y'all know how much money you're going to make this year? And I think most of us probably do, like a ballpark. You can't get a mortgage or a rent if you don't know how much money you're going to make. So, okay, so you know with certainty that $3,000 is going to come to you regardless, right? So let me ask you, next year, a year from today, will that $3,000 that you get paid next month, will that $3,000 be in your bank account next year? You may have $3,000 in your bank account, but will that $3,000 be in your bank account? No, probably not, right? So that means you will have spent $3,000 on something. The question is that $3,000 that you spent, is that going to give you more of something that matters? Or is it going to give you more of something that doesn't matter? Because that money is going to be spent. It's just, what am I going to spend it on? And what I choose to spend it on, will it really make a difference in my life a year from now? And you guys, I can't answer that for you. But what I can tell you is, for more than a decade, I've helped almost 250,000 women make that choice. And they feel, I can't tell you how you should feel, but they come back and they tell me that it was the best decision they ever made. If they were given the chance, they'd do it all over again. They'd do it twice as fast and they'd pay twice as much. Because let me tell you something, there is no price on how you feel about yourself. How you show up in the world affects everything we do. Okay? So I'm going to give you a link to reserve your spot. And before I do that, I said I was going to give some of you a special discount. Okay? I know a lot of you are in my 6-week program. So I have some good news for you. You don't have to come up with all that money right now, because right now, for this class only, I'm dropping $800 off the price when you pay in full, making it just $2,200. And if you're a student, you get a special discount code. You can apply the entire $300 that you paid for the 6-week program towards the cost of the Thrive program by using a coupon code I'm going to share with you in a minute, making it just $1,900 if you're a student. And I know some of y'all only paid $200 for the program, but that's okay, because I'm going to give you an extra $100 towards the price of the Thrive program. Okay, I'm going to put the link in here so you guys have access to it. And the special discount code is student. Okay, you guys, we will be checking if you are a 6-week student. Okay, but if you are a 6-week student and you want to make it just $1,900, put in the code, in the coupon code student, and it'll drop that price. Okay, now I will stay on and answer questions, comments, concerns you guys have. I will stay on as long as you guys have questions. And I want you to know too that I have totally lost the screen. I want you to know too that you guys, you start a community together. So the study buddies, the groups that I was telling you about, you guys create a pod together, right? That's why we only take 15 at a time, because the people that you start with are the people that you're going to go through the program together. Okay. Oh, here's the link. Does everybody have the link? Is that clickable? Okay. Here, I'm going to put the link in here a couple of times. Oh, hosts and panel. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I was just going to the hosts and panelists. There you go. There you go. Thank you, Sally. Okay. So my issue is, since I've joined the initial part from your 7-day program, I've received so many emails, I feel completely lost and overwhelmed. Yeah, when you just have the 6-week program, that's why we were talking about, it's really important that you have access to coaches, you have access to support. You have Sally here who's been answering some of your questions. Sally's your personal progress partner. Sally lost 90 pounds going through the program just by doing exactly what I'm talking to you guys about today. She loves this program so much that she decided that she was just, she asked me, she went through the coaching certification as well. She's a certified coach. And at the time we weren't hiring more coaches. And I didn't have enough students to hire another one. And she decided that she didn't care. She just wanted to work with these students. She was so passionate about it. So she made herself a job. She came in and she just started making the community better. She started helping you guys. You guys, one of the reasons this program is so successful and you have this support is because Sally was going through this process together with everybody else, and she filled in the gaps. She realized this is what I really needed in order to be more successful, and she's added those parts to the program. Okay, here, everybody, here's the link again. Again, you have a $300, you have $800 as a discount for paying in full, making it $2,200, and an extra $300 credit, making it just $1,900 if you're a student. Okay, so what questions do you guys have for me? I will stay on as long as you guys have questions. And for those of you who just like know you're fast action takers, again, remember, we sold out of this on every single workshop that we've been on. We've completely sold out. So I want you to type in that you're in, so I don't have to keep refreshing my page. I want you to say, I'm in when you join. Okay, because remember, we have 300 people on the call and we only have 15 spots. Okay, the discount code is student. Mary's in. Woohoo! Congratulations, Mary. The program duration. So it's a 12-week program. You have 3 months, and then we give you an additional 3 months of support. Okay, so life happens, you get busy, you go on vacation, you get a little overwhelmed. Sometimes in the Q&A calls, I'm going to be checking in with you. And sometimes I might just say, hey, I want you to don't listen to anything new, because I want you to just focus on this one thing. Because I'm not just making this up, this Home Depot thing up. Like, that is how I work. I'm very, very single task focused. And I'll usually give you something to focus on for 2 weeks to a month. And that's how people have success. We call them customized prescriptions. Y'all, if you could hear what happens when you do and you apply the customized prescriptions that I give to you. I mean, I had one woman who shared, she did a really hard one. Her biggest thing was sexual trauma, and her abuser had just gotten out of jail and lived nearby her. She was so triggered. She was so scared. And I gave her a customized prescription. To be honest, I didn't think she would actually do it because it was really hard. It was really hard. She did it. And she came to class a month later, and she said the first words, no joke, out of her mouth were, "What is this witchcraft?" Brittany, I went to a bar. There were men everywhere. I saw these men looking at me. I had two even come up to me to ask me for my number. Now, for somebody who's been sexually abused, you know, that is a very triggering situation. She says, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even realize it until I left with my husband, and my husband noticed how different I was. My husband noticed that I had zero reaction. My abuser's out of jail, and I don't even think about it. Like, it's not coming to mind at all. Okay, these prescriptions are extremely powerful. You don't have direct sessions with me, Sharon. We have group calls where you have access to talk to me, and I stay on the call as long as you have questions. You have direct access to Sally. You have a way of communicating with her. You can talk to her every day, all day long if you want. Okay. And we also have these group, the study buddy programs where you have a group where you can tap together in the group and you can ask your coach whatever questions you have. Okay. These are certified people. The calls with me are twice a month. No problem, Faye. If you can't afford it, I totally get it. We don't want to take anything off the table. Like, we don't want to take food off the table. We don't want you to decide between paying your rent and this program. I had a girl who joined last month who said she saved up for an entire year so that she could be in the program. So I'm definitely here. I'm not going anywhere. I can't, I never know how the program's going to change, but I definitely would love to work with you. Laura said she jumped in. Woohoo! Yay! Congratulations, Laura. Excited and nervous. Amazing. Who else is in? Oh, Christina's in. Yeah, Christina. Okay, I love it. And I want you guys, what you're going to do, you're going to introduce each other. Well, you don't have to do it here publicly, but once we get in the program, everybody's going to have a call with Sally, okay, which is your personal progress partner. She's going to get on the phone and she's going to show you how the program works. And she's going to tell you how to meet buddies, because what you guys are creating a pod. You guys are going to team up together. Okay. So the people that are joining right now are going to be the people that you go through this program together. Okay. Mary said, I'm praying with a leap of faith. Yay. Mary's in too. Amazing. Is the 6-week program worth it? I mean, yeah, the 6-week program is amazing. It's filled with my techniques, but again, you don't have that support. It's not customized specifically for you, right? Why are people saying it's not 4,000, it's 3,000 if you make payments. So there's a payment plan for, I think it's 5 payments of $500. Michelle joined too. Yay, Michelle, congratulations. Welcome. I can't wait to work with you. 4,000 is the cost if it's Canadian. So yeah, so the 6-week program, it's just not customizable, and everybody runs into roadblocks, and you don't have that support. You don't have access to a coach. We don't have, a Facebook group where you can ask people questions. So, this is how, and that's why it's such a low price, right? So you're paying more. Not only do we have more techniques and more support, but you're paying more to make sure that you don't fall off, and so that you have access to people that can help get you through your self-sabotage. Okay, yes, there will be a recording sent out, so don't worry about that. What other questions do you guys have? I didn't see the answer. I didn't see the question about the set point that's been repeatedly asked. Kat, if you can ask that question again directly, then I'm happy to answer it. You have access to the program for 6 months. So it's a 3-month program, and we give you an extra 3 months of support. How to change a weight set point. Kat, we did that today. That's literally what we did today. And I explained to you that, do you remember how I explained to you that all the beliefs and all the programs that are running in your subconscious mind that are causing you to overeat and to feel ashamed by wasting food? That's what we tapped on, and that's what and by tapping on those things, and by tapping on all of your anxiety and your resistance and the anger and the sadness and all the emotions that were brought up, that's what changes the weight set point, because your brain, and we entered new commands in the brain. Remember all the positive statements and the positive affirmations and the reframes that we did with the tapping? Those are the new commands now that your brain goes, hey, I can honor my body by not putting this food in. If this is going to go in the trash, or it's going to go in on my ass, right? That's how you update the system. And of course, we go deeper, much deeper into this in the actual program. Can I review after going to checkout? I don't know what that means, Nan. So yeah, here's the link again. After you'll get an email with a checkout, and then Sally will contact you guys on Monday. Sally's going to contact you right away. So yeah, probably give her until Monday or Tuesday to sort that out, but she's going to message you and set up that first one-on-one call. Yeah, Betsy, that's something that we go deeper into in the program. There's a lot of resistance when it comes to things like that. And again, everybody's different, right? Like, you have that experience, and remember, Jody had something else. Renee had something else, right? So these techniques are really powerful, but you also have to know how to customize them for your personal experience. And that's one of the benefits and the values of having me in your corner to help you see your blind spots, having Sally, your personal progress partner, who lost 90 pounds doing exactly this program. You've got coaches. Everybody that works for me has had a personal weight loss success story. Okay. So they've all been in your shoes. They all know the program works, and they are trained under me for 2 years before they can even answer coaching questions. Nan, after I put in a credit card, I didn't press checkout. Okay, if you buy it twice, Nan, don't worry, we'll refund you. That's something that you can that we'll sort out. Don't worry about that. The calls are at Tuesday and Thursday, and they're at rotating times so that they can fit everybody's. So it doesn't matter what time zone you're in, everybody will get at least one call that works for them. Americans get 2 calls in their time zone, but I think one's at 7 p.m. for Europe in the morning and for Australia in the morning, and then another one's at noon that I think also Australia can join too. The supplement caused lose 10 pounds in a bottle. What caused the weight loss? It helps activate your thyroid and your metabolism. And it was actually formulated by an Ayurvedic doctor for me, who is a friggin' genius. And it doesn't do all the work because, it doesn't do all the work, but it definitely helps kickstart your thyroid and metabolism. How would we be able to save up the money after? Yeah, I mean, you just have to keep following me, Betsy, and see when I offer the program again. Okay. I don't give you the name of the Ayurvedic supplement. That's something that you get when you join my program. We give that to you once you're in. What time are the calls? Oh yeah, we also have buddy calls 5 days a week. We have lots of options, you guys. This is very much, I like lots of options, right? So when you come in, again, I'm like Home Depot. You have the option of every tool available. But what you're going to do is me and Sally and Sally, you guys are going to figure out what's going to be the best plan for you. Okay. Maybe you want to go to a lot of buddy calls. Maybe you don't want to go to the buddy calls. Maybe you like to do the more like, I want to just work by myself and I don't want to have anybody else around, but you want to come to the calls with me. Or maybe you really like, Sally, and Sally has a lot of wisdom and she's been on this path. Maybe you like working directly with her, right? So everybody's going to have a different way that they use the program, and there's lots of different options. So whatever way you learn best, there's a way to support your learning style. How do we get the free video you said you're offering? Michelle, everybody that's on the webinar to the end, like you are, you guys are going to be sent the video that we were offering. Yeah, thanks for asking. Yes, 10 people have already joined. Okay, I haven't checked. 10 people have joined. I tell you what, oh my gosh. I just got logged out. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I told you every time we've done this, we've completely sold out. So if you are on, I can't tell. Sally, how many people are still on? Pam's in too. Woo!
172.
172. Okay, we have 172 and we still have four spots left. So if you guys have questions, please ask them so I can answer them for you. I'm a little sick. My throat is a little my throat is a little well, also I've been talking for 2 days, so if you get sold out, when will another group open? Honestly, that has a lot to do with how the students are doing in the program. We really like to give people the space. Also, Sally is only one person. I don't have another personal progress partner, and I'm not going to train a bunch of them. I really believe in giving you guys great results and a great experience. And so I'm not a huge company. I'm not just going to like hire a bunch of people that kind of like don't really understand my work just to make more money and just to be able to enroll more people. I really believe in keeping our community small. I am, again, one person. I like everybody to have their questions answered. So, sometimes
there's no one like me.
And there's nobody like Sally. There isn't. Sally is unreplaceable. So yes, if you're a student, nice try, Nan. Nice try. Well, 2,200 is not bad if you're not a student.
Yeah, I paid a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, Sally paid thousands for this, you guys. I think what was
And I'd do it again. I would do it again.
Oh, thank you, Sally. Thank you for saying that. That's it. Sally paid like $14,000, I think, right? But with the 2 programs that you bought?
Yep, I did.
Yeah. So Sally would do it all over again. $14,000, you guys. This is $1,900. Is someone a student of the 6-week program? If you're a student of the
It wasn't 1,400, Brittany. It was 14,000.
No. Oh, that's what I said. 14,000.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It was 14,000. I know. This is 1,900 compared to that. Yeah. This is like a fire sale. But one of the reasons I'm doing this is because we created a system now with Sally's help. I can actually help more people. Yeah, it says $2,200, and then you put in the code that you're a student. Again, Denise, if you are an actual student, if you have already bought the 6-week program for $200 or $300, you get a $300 credit towards the cost. Okay, so that will bring the price down to $1,900 when you do that. Yeah, so with Sally's help, we've been able to lower the price and accept more people into the program. But again, you know, Sally's just one person, so we're still keeping the program fairly small. We have these communities, and we have the coaches helping, and we've got the buddy groups. But you know, we're not this like big conglomerate that has thousands and thousands of students. No, sorry, we don't give a discount on the 6-week program. Well, it is normal price of 1,000, which is what you can find on my website. And then there's places where you can get it for $200 or $300. $1,900 is just the upfront payment. If you want to make payments, it's $500 a month. Michelle, I'm so excited. Can't wait. Woo! Thank you for your message, Michelle. I'm so excited to work with you. Vicky, I appreciate your integrity and commitment to us, Brittany. Thank you, Vicky. That means a lot. I really like when you guys can tell and see how committed I am to this, and how much I care about getting you guys results. Thank you for acknowledging that. It feels really good, because we do. I mean, we love this. We love helping you. We love supporting you on your journey. I love the wins that you guys shared. Ah. Yeah, Nan, I get it. Husbands, yeah, we got to make sure the husband's on board. Okay, here, somebody's asking for the link again. You mentioned 4 groups that are going together. Yep. Yeah, there's smaller cohorts, yeah, of just 15. But overall on the live calls, we don't usually have more than like between 40 and 60 people on the live calls, and not everybody has questions too. So often, you know, most people will come there, and you guys, there's pretty much everybody that asks a question. If you're not the type to raise your hand and ask a question, I guarantee somebody else will ask a question. Right? So they'll ask the question for you, basically. You'll get your answer based on something that somebody else asked. And also what I do on these live calls is I give you guys customized prescriptions, and I'll start challenges. So say somebody's like, this happened last 2 weeks, or last 2 weeks ago. There were a lot of people that were struggling with self-sabotage. And one person raised her hand, and she was telling me about her experience, and it resonated with so many people. And so I gave her a customized prescription, and then 10 other people raised their hand, and they said that they wanted to join too. So what they do is they create a group, and everybody goes through this customized prescription, and then they're going to go into a messaging app so that they can share their results with each other. Okay. So we have really built this in, and now that's optional, but it adds an extra layer of support, and it adds an extra layer of like motivation and hand holding, which it really helps in the long-term success. Okay, who else has questions? No problem, Nicole. No problem at all. I will be here. I'm not going anywhere. It's been 12 years, so I will be here. Okay, Michelle said, I'm so excited. I know this is going to change my life. Thank you. Absolutely, Michelle. 100%. Money back. Yeah. So the money back offer is you can go through the program for 2 whole months. Okay. You go through the program for it's a 3-month program. So, oh, there's 3 spots left. Sally just said, you can go through the program for 2 whole months. If you make all the moves and you do all your homework and you don't get results, you turn your homework into me and we give you all your money back. Okay. You can literally go through almost the entire program before you even decide. Okay, that's how much I believe in this. That's how much I know that this will work for you. I wouldn't really have a business if I had a whole bunch of people giving me refunds, right? But that's to help you really feel confident in making this choice, because I know there's a lot of things that you probably invested in that didn't work. Lynn says, I'm excited to get started. Woohoo! Yay! Yeah, I would go ahead and listen to week 2 of your, listen to week 2, because that's something that will, it might bring up some challenges for you. And then when you have your call with Sally, you can tell her what challenges it brought up for you, and then she'll make some recommendations for you as a place to start. Okay. Yay, Lynn, I'm glad you're joining us. Yay. Sally, yeah, she's doing great managing. Okay, you guys, we have 3 spots left. Who else is going to take these 3 spots? I know we're going to sell out. I know we always do. We always do. Who else is going to take those 3 spots? What other questions do you guys have? What concerns? What's like in the back of your head that you like maybe even feel awkward asking me? There's no right or wrong answers. There's nothing you can ask me. I'm not going to feel put on the spot. Renee, that's fair. If you want to finish your 6 weeks first, that's totally fair. If you're getting results with that, then awesome. What's the difference between the 6 week and their no. So yeah, Bonnie, I already explained this, but if you missed it, so the 6 week program is self-paced, and there's no support. You don't have a Facebook group. You don't have coaches to check in with. You don't have any of the buddy calls that we're talking about. There's also a lot of information that I learned after I created the 6 week program that goes even deeper. Okay. You don't have access to me. You don't have access to a community. You basically just have 6 techniques. You work through those. But if something comes up, if you get blocked, if you get stuck, if one of the techniques doesn't apply to you, or if your self-sabotage comes up really strong, I learned a lot more about self-sabotage once I created the Thrive program than I did in the 6 week program. So a lot of people will get stuck on the self-sabotage. Also, when we talk about body boundary violation and sexual abuse, most people get really triggered and stop there. I haven't actually, there are very few people that have been able to finish the 6 week program because it gets into such deep issues, and those issues require support. You have blind spots that come up, and it will absolutely help you it will help move you forward in your journey. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to offer that level of support for such a low investment, because there's not a lot of, there's not everybody can make a $1,900 investment. I understand that. But this is for people that you're like, I'm done. Like, I'm done having this problem. I want permanent weight loss results. That is what we provide in the Thrive program. We provide the community, we provide the support, and we provide the information so that you never have to deal with this problem ever again. Once this program is over, I don't try to keep you in. I don't try to sell you more stuff, guys. Like, I literally want you to go off and live your life. My business would be way more successful if my goal was to keep you in. It's not. My goal is to give you every single thing you need to leave me and to go live your life and to be happy and never have to worry about weight loss again. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to go back through the questions. Does that answer your question? Louise, finally in and got confirmed. Yay! Yay! Wendy joined too. Awesome. Welcome, Wendy. I can't wait to meet you guys. Okay. Yeah, the payment is $500 for 5 months. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry about your husband, Renee. I'm so sorry. That's so, ugh. My parents are getting older, and I'm preparing myself to have to deal with things like that. That is just horrible. Yeah, it's $500 each month. It's 5 payments of $500. Yeah, I think a lot of us are caregivers. We're empaths, we're people pleasers. We also use food as a way to cope. So it's not great for our life. And I teach you, actually, one of the modules that is not in the 6 week program, that's in the Thrive program that I discovered just a couple years ago, is boundary tapping. Boundary tapping is unbelievable. A lot of people most people, they teach boundaries and how to set them. But when I was going through my boundaries, I realized that it was actually really hard to set boundaries. And like, whenever I would set a boundary, I would get a bad reaction from people. And so I wasn't actually able to set boundaries. I was just like starting fights. And so I figured out a tapping hack, we call it boundary tapping, so that you change the boundary internally, kind of like we do everything else. You change the boundary internally so that when it comes out of your mouth, it just comes out of your mouth like a fact and like a statement, and the other person doesn't have a reaction to it, and they automatically respect your boundaries. I remember, actually, here's a funny story about that. I was in Lake Tahoe with my dad and my sister, and my dad has this thing where when he cooks, he expects everybody to get up and start helping him cook, because nobody in the house cooks. We're a bunch of women. Nobody cooks except for him. And so whenever he decides that he wants to cook, he just expects us all to run into the kitchen and just start chopping things. And I had just finished boundary tapping on myself, and I use myself as a human science experiment. So, that's what I did for this one as well. And my sister jumps up and she's in the kitchen, and my dad also, by the way, my dad's a huge guy and he has a temper like a motherfucker, He gets angry like this. You never know when it's coming too. So my sister gets up, she sees him cooking. My sister gets up and she starts chopping, and I'm laying on the couch, and I think I was drinking some wine. And she goes, "Hey, Britt, we're cooking. Did you want to come in here and help us?" No joke, you guys. I go, "I've been taking care of all y'all my whole life. You guys can take care of me for a while." Normally, this would piss my dad off so bad. My dad would flip his shit. But you know what the difference was? I did boundary tapping. So the way it came out was just as a fact, and I said it in kind of this funny way. Guess what my dad did? He laughed. He freaking laughed. You should have seen the look on my sister's face. My sister was white. She was prepared for like a fight. You're like, "Oh shit, dad's gonna freak out." He laughed because I had changed that boundary in myself, so he had no choice but to respect it. Yeah, it is really powerful. That is one of the things that you will not get in the 6-week program. Let's see. Nicole, do you have lower cost options? These are the lower. So if you're on my email list, you get access to everything that we have. So if you want some lower, Natalie's in. Woo! Yay, Natalie. Yay, Natalie. Okay, we have maybe 2 more spots available. I will stay on as long as you guys have questions. Nicole, stay on my email list. You will get emails from us that will, Jen's in too. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, we might be full. So yeah, you'll get access to things that we have for lower cost. It's not going to be this, but we will have access to, we will give you access to things that you can have, like, small little recordings or this little package here. Sometimes we're going to offer discounts and things like that. Okay. Just checking my. What other questions do you guys have? Okay, any experience with ADHD clients? You know what? I haven't worked on that specifically, but I definitely have had a lot of people say that they've gotten off of medication, and ADHD is one of the medications that I've heard people get off of. And it's not, they don't try. They got off depression medicine, anxiety medicine. Those are really common ones. Just as a function of doing the deep healing work that we do, tapping. And tapping, it changes the genetic expression. It's been proven to change the genetic expression in your DNA. There's a book by Dawson Church, who was one of my first business partners. He's the lead scientist for clinically proving that tapping works. And he wrote a book called The Genie in Your Genes, GENES. And it's all about the science of how tapping will actually change your genetic coding. So you guys, one of my best friends, she She got into a relationship with this guy who was like super successful CEO, really cute, really kind. He's like the one. And she had so much insecurity. She was raised with a mom and a grandma who basically made her very, very insecure about herself. And so she used tapping. I introduced her to tapping at the time. She used tapping as a way to overcome her insecurities. You guys, her literal face changed. She got like her face changed. I don't know how it happened, but she got older. She's like 4 years older, and she's like the most gorgeous version of herself. And I've had lots of people say that they've noticed wrinkles go away, that they feel like they became more beautiful. It's really, really incredible. It's really incredible. Oh, Sally was saying that she was a diabetic and she doesn't take any medicine for her weight loss. Yeah, that's very, very common. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around, talk about ADHD. It's really cool to see the changes that are made. I never know how these changes are going to work. Nobody in a million years thought my friend tapping on her insecurities because that her boyfriend was triggering in her would make her like be a better looking version of herself, but that's what ended up happening. So I find that tapping just makes you into the best version of yourself, whatever that is. It helps put you on your path, so that it helps put you on the path that you're meant to be on in this world. You know, I don't know if you're anything like me, but when I was struggling with weight loss and emotional eating, all my thoughts were consumed with food. I didn't have any space in my brain to think about anything else. And this is super, super common. Most of my students will say the same thing, that once they are able to stop the food noise, that allows their higher selves, their spirit guides, their angels, whatever you believe in, God, to get messages through to them for who they're meant to be in this world. So it might feel like, like you feel like, oh gosh, you might feel like you're not on the right path, but you don't really know what to do about it. Maybe you feel like you're, not actually going after the dreams that you had, but you don't even really know what those dreams are. You don't quite feel fulfilled, but you're not sure why, and you're not sure what would fulfill you. Guess what? Those answers are available to you much faster than you think. And when you get rid of the noise, that makes way for those answers to come in. That's why this program never gets boring for me, because I get to hear stories of women and like what they do with their lives after they're done struggling with weight and after they're done struggling with food. Like a lot of them, I had a girl that moved her entire family she was living in Australia, and she moved her entire family to the States because she just had this calling, and she ended up having a TV show in Hollywood because of it. Speaking of Hollywood, I've had Hollywood clients. One of them, she was on this show, and she was only making, I don't know, she's very famous, so she was making like, let's say $100,000 an episode. I don't know how much she was making. After tapping with me and through this program, she gained the confidence to go to her studio and say, I want to raise to $1 million an episode. And not just for me, for every female cast member. And she fucking got it. Okay, like I don't know. I mean, there are so many stories like this, you guys. I never know how this is going to work out. It's called the genie in your jeans. Do I know how to spell that? I never know how this is going to work for people, but I can tell you that it puts you onto the very highest and best version of yourself in this lifetime. So if you think about, oh, thank you, Sharon. If you think about like before you came down to earth talking to God, who did he want you to be? Or who do you want to be? Who's the very best version of yourself that you would want to be in this life? Maybe it doesn't even seem possible. Maybe it seems like a dream. It is 100% possible when you get rid of these subconscious programs and this constant mental chatter. Neha joined the program. Woo! Amazing. I can't wait to meet you, Neha. Thank you so much for telling me. Yes. Katie said, I'm ready to heal, lose weight, and move forward and be who I'm supposed to be. You are meant for more. Fuck yeah, girl. Fuck yeah. Yeah, you are. I can't wait to be a stand for you. And I hope that if you learn nothing else from me, I hope that I can be a reflection of what that is, because I believe that I'm living on the very best timeline. And I'm living the very best version of my life. And I continue to grow. I continue to get better and better. The more I learn, the more I teach you guys, right? But I take a stand for living my absolute best fucking life. Okay, Sally said she can handle a few more. Okay, so I think we hit capacity, but Sally's just saying now that she can handle a few more. Okay, awesome. So anybody else, if you're on the fence, Sally gave the green flag that she can handle a few more. So I'm gonna, we're getting up to the hour here. Oh, Mick, have you not been, we're getting up to the top of the hour here. This is the link, Mick, to go. And if you're a student, you can put in that code to get a special discount. Julia says, right now, Brittany, you're sharing your valuable time with us for free. I appreciate you so much for that. Oh, thank you. I'm a senior on fixed income. Yeah, I totally get that. That's why I give a lot in these, you guys. Like I give a lot of change away for free. I remember somebody coming to me, she joined my program, but she said she came to my webinars for a year and she lost 100 pounds just by going to my free webinars. So yeah, I really intend to provide value to you guys, whether you can afford my programs or not. Obviously, I want you to be a student, but if you can't afford it, my hope is that you're able to get results and get change just from coming to my free stuff too. Barb, if you just got here, I would log off and watch the replay. There's too much to explain. Okay. Let's see. Okay, what other questions? Let's see. Okay. Thank you for sharing that book. Yeah, The Genie in Your Genes. It's all about epigenetics. That's the word I was looking for. Katie said, I'm ready to heal and lose weight. Yes. Okay. Let's see. I also attend some of Britt's free webinars and they help me reinforce the info in the other programs and remotivate me when I need it. Great. Great. I'm so glad. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I do. I have a free challenge. I do different, every webinar I do, they're different. I share different things on them. So if you guys, yeah, if you can't afford it right now, just stay on my list and come to all my webinars. I have so many. I mean, I generally talk about the same things, but I switch up the techniques because even I get bored of teaching the same stuff. So I teach new things all the time in just my webinars. Obviously, if you want fast results and you want us to like help your, hold your hand. And there's obviously a lot of things I don't talk about. Like I'll never give the boundary tapping away for free. I keep a lot of the self-sabotage stuff. That's just stuff that you're going to find in my program. But there's, a lot of things that you can find that I give away for free. So. Okay. Who else has questions? Any questions? If you're on and you're like still on the fence, if you have like one question, you're like, oh, if I just knew the answer to this, then I would say yes. And then I would get started. What is that question? I'm here for it. I'm here to answer it. What is that question? Does this count as being a student? I don't know what that means. How long do we have access to the 6-week course? We have people that bought it 5 years ago that still have access to it. Let's see. What if the issue isn't overeating, but that nothing seems to work? Can the resignation be an issue to tap on? You know what, Sharon? I kind of pride myself on being the program that works when nothing else does. Because here's the thing, if it's Well, if it's not overeating, actually, if you're not overeating, like if it's like a thyroid or a metabolism problem or like a hormone issue, then we don't talk about anything like that. So that would be something that you would need to get a doctor's help with. But yeah, I mean, if you do overeat and if nothing has worked, that's when I'm like the best because my techniques work right away. You don't have to wait for them to work. You'll know within, 20 minutes of doing it, you'll know whether or not it works. The course yesterday and today, does that count as being a student? No, Barb. What counts as being a student is if you have my 6-week program. So you either invested $200 or $300 in that program. And so for those people that have invested in that, I'm giving them a $300 credit towards the Thrive program. I mean, no matter how carefully I eat and exercise, I don't lose weight or lose weight briefly and then stabilize there. So yeah, I mean, I think so. Sharon, have you checked your hormones? Because sometimes people will say, oh my gosh, I'm eating right, I'm doing all the right things, and maybe you're eating too little. With people that have like a slow metabolism from dieting forever, I would probably say that I'm not the best option for that. You'd want to probably work with like a nutrition expert or, even fitness experts can help you in that scenario. Sometimes tracking your calories would work. So Sharon, people can have what works for some people could totally trigger somebody else. So I'm not going to recommend this to my students, but Sharon, for you specifically, it sounds like you might need to track and see how many calories you are eating, because if you've been under eating for a long time, my guess is it would be a slow metabolism and then maybe some hormonal imbalance. So if that's the case, then I would get like a fitness instructor or nutritionist that's versed in like functional medicine and have you work with them, because they'll help you track how many calories you need. And in the case where people need to eat more than they have, you have to do that very carefully and you have to be very methodical. And my guess is from you, my sense of you is that you're good at sticking to rules. And if that's the case, then working with somebody like that could really work for you. Can tapping help with immense anxiety surrounding a food allergy because avoidance is required? Yes, 100%. I mean, I don't work with that specifically, but I can tell you exactly how to tap on that. Yeah. Susan is ready. She's already used Voxer. Wow. Susan has already connected with Sally over Voxer. You guys, you get access to Sally. You can Voxer, which is basically like the old school. Remember those old school walkie-talkies? You can Voxer with Sally and be like, hey, Sally, this is my challenge. This is what I'm going through. What do you think I should do? And Sally's going to have a solution for you. She's going to say, okay, go here and download this or do this call or do this tap. And she's going to have answers for you right away. I love that. Way to be a fast action taker, Susan. Sorry said one question is if we feel like we need this, but we don't feel ready, or we will actually do it. Sorry, that's a great question. I think that's going to be a personal choice. We have designed the program so that we have all the support so that you can get the results that you're looking for. We hold your hand. We offer lots of help, community support, audio support. You've got Sally, you've got her on Voxer, you've got calls with me. We've got buddy groups. Like there's something to do every day of the week so that you don't have to do this alone. Like if you're the type of person that like you have a hard time doing things alone, you don't have to do it alone. But if you're like, I also don't want you to come into the program and be like, oh, I didn't do anything for, 2 months and then be like, oh, give me my money back, because then that doesn't feel good for me either. Right. I only want you to do this if you're really committed to like, I want to try to do this. I'm going to come and I'm going to do, you can try it out for 2 months, but you got to actually do the homework. Right. So if you come to me and you're like, well, I didn't do it, I didn't really want to do it, then, those aren't the kind of students that we want. We want students that are really committed, that are wanting to be part of the group. And you can be scared, you can be hesitant, you can be anxious, you can be like, I don't know if it's going to work for me. I can deal with all of that. But if you're just like, meh, I don't know if I really want to do this, then I would say it's probably not the best fit. Very fair. A lot is timing. Yeah, 100%. I've been there. Sometimes you're just like, I just got too much going on. This program, it's no joke. Like we go deep. So you'll have a lot of things to do. The techniques work really well, but you got to do the techniques, and sometimes the techniques are hard. Like it's hard to make the choice to do the tapping instead of eating the food. That's the only choice you have to make, because then we do the rest for you. But sometimes it's hard, and if you're like, if life is hard and you're dealing with other stuff, then yeah, this might not be the best fit right now. I can do things on my own on an intellectual level, but the emotional stuff, I need interaction. I feel like this is the missing piece I've been looking for. Oh, thank you, Christina. We are. I'm telling you, I don't even know you, and I know that we are, because we hear that from so many people. You hear that? That's literally the word they use. They use the missing piece. Oh, Sharon, you're so welcome. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Good. Sharon said, I wanted to say thank you. I can't afford it right now. I had success from the 7 days. I didn't finish a box of donut holes, and I still have some mini M&Ms left. If I don't have a root beer float tonight, I'll feel really good about myself. Thanks again. Oh, thanks, Sharon. I'm so glad we're a part of your journey, and sounds like you're making really good progress. So, Joyce, I don't understand your question. I purchased this 6-week program a few days ago. Is what you're offering today that plus the bonuses? No, it's not that. It's an even more comprehensive program. It's a 3-month program instead of a 6-week program. And we go into, there's more information. We talk about boundaries. We talk about anger. We talk about self-sabotage. It's a much more extensive, in-depth program, plus all the bonuses that we talked about. Okay. Okay, thank you for all your help. I have noticed things just with your free challenge that I never thought possible. So I'm definitely hooked on this concept with you. Oh, thank you. This is all brand new to me. You've happened to pop up on something unrelated, so I figured it was meant to be. You want to try this program? Oh my gosh, thank you so much for saying that, and we will definitely be here. Okay. I struggle with feeling into my feelings. How can I get my results? Hazel, that is, you know what? Sometimes feelings don't want to present themselves because there's so much emotion behind it. And so often people, in order to feel comfortable with their feelings, they need to know somebody else is there holding space for them. So if you've tried, have you tried tapping? And what happens when you try tapping? Do you just like get nothing? Do you draw a blank? Because most of the time, if nothing happens, it's just there's like a little block on top of the feelings, and that block needs to be addressed, and we can do some tapping. Yes, nothing. Yeah, we can do some tapping around that. And then that will usually loosen up and make way for the feelings and emotions. But it can absolutely be done, but it needs to be done with support. Oh, also, once you guys join, there's an option to get one-on-one coaching for my cost. I've literally never offered this before. Shoot, I should have said this earlier. Say yes to that if you want. So this is what I would do, Hazel, just because you're saying that. Thank you for bringing this up. There's a offer to get 12 coaching sessions for what my cost is, which is the lowest price I've ever offered coaching. Again, Sally paid $14,000 for it. I think it's like $1,200. So if you guys join, say yes to that as an option, or if you missed it, you can tell Sally, and I've given Sally permission to allow you guys to purchase that again, and to purchase that so that you have that support. So Hazel, not like trying to sell you more stuff, but also telling you that you want that support. You're going to want support of a one-on-one coach. That's just with you. Sharon, when you join, Sally will give you all that access, and she'll give you all that information. So if you joined, which I think you did, she will, you'll have a call with Sally and she will give you the link if you didn't say yes to it the first time. Yeah, that's on its own or addition. That would be an addition. Yeah, that's an additional cost. Sorry. It's not a coach. It's not, it's a coach that's trained by me personally. You're welcome. It's not available outside the Thrive program. We only offer it inside the Thrive program. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's a confusing video. I need to shoot that video again so that I can explain it better. Thank you, Natalie, for being here. I enjoyed the weekend very much. I've just found out that I lost a job. Oh, shoot. Okay. Oh my gosh, Sally. You know what? I hope that this is what catapults you to living the very best version of your life. I have been through a lot of ups and downs in my life, and I've always noticed that whenever shit falls apart and whenever I feel like I'm at my lowest, there's only one way to go, and I start to get excited about the possibility of what's next. So anyway, there's what is that book? Conversations with God. It's a good book that I read when I was going through my divorce. I was like 33 or something. And there's a really cool part about going through phases. He said, if you look back at your life and think about the worst things that have happened to you, go back and review, think about what happens after that. What happens after the worst thing? Usually your life takes a big, big uptick. Sometimes a lot of bad things need to happen in order for that to happen, but we have this tendency of, like, when things are really bad, to actually be on the verge of something even better. It's usually making space for something even better. I loved that book too, by the way, if you haven't read it. Okay, Kathy's excited to take the leap. Yay! Awesome. Anybody else have questions? I'm here for it. If you have questions, I will absolutely give you your answers. Wanted to think about Eastern Body, Western Mind is a great book. That's one of my favorite books that I always recommend. It's definitely like a book for a therapist. Hazel, we're not offering the inner circle with this right now. We actually might make that part of the Thrive program. That's one of the things. These are the bonuses that I just happen to throw out from time to time. So we're going to have a team meeting about how to incorporate that into the Thrive program, but we haven't done that yet, so I'm not talking about it. But Hazel, you've got some inside information. Okay, anybody else have questions about joining the program? Anybody else have questions about joining the program? If there's anything that you are like unsure about. I'm going to take a bio break soon. I got to pee. If there's nobody else that has questions, then I'm going to log off soon. So this is your warning. Thank you for your time today. Yes. Okay, I'm excited for you guys to jump into. I'm super, super excited. We're gonna have a Q&A call in the next week or two. So I'll meet you guys all live then. You cannot, you know what? We haven't, yeah, Tapping Circle is awesome, actually, if you said yes to it, but we haven't made that its own offer. Right now, there's no way to join that on its own. So that would be a good thing to join, but I don't have a way for you to join that right now. The best thing I can do is what we offer in the Thrive program. Okay, I'm gonna say that everybody has their questions answered. Oh, great. Awesome, Jessica. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I'm gonna say congratulations to everybody that joined. I think we oversold. We didn't just sell out, we oversold. Sally made some more space available. So thank you, Sally, for doing that. And we're gonna now get started to work with the people who have just joined. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your belief. Thank you for your commitment to yourself. It's I'm so grateful to do this for a living. I feel so much reward in my life by being able to help you guys in this way and to watch your progress. I think my life would feel very different if I didn't if I wasn't able to be in a helping position in life. So this is truly my life's work, and this is my life calling, and I'm very, very grateful that I am able to help you guys live your highest and best life. So I can't wait to start working with all of you guys. Thank you, Sally, for being here and supporting as well. I love you, and I love all of you guys, and can't wait to get to know those of you more deeply. And if for whatever reason you couldn't join because of finances, I will be here and I'll keep offering these. Just keep coming to the webinars and hope to keep giving you results that way. Okay,
Yep,
bye everybody.
I got a bunch of Voxers and I sent out 12 emails already.
Oh
So
my God, amazing. Yay. 12
looking
souls.
forward to meeting everybody.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks. Me too. Thanks, everybody.